Warning: the Dub Talk podcast contains language and content that may not be suitable for younger audiences. Listener discretion is advised. There will also be spoilers for various anime throughout the course of this episode. Please use caution in case we discuss a series you haven't finished yet. Finally, the opinions expressed are those of the individual participants and may not reflect the Dub Talk podcast as a whole. Enjoy the show.
You know, on any given moment, I'd be just my happy, cheerful self. But ever since the great disaster happened, I don't really feel like up to life anymore. To be honest, I mean, who can say that about any of us here tonight? I mean, is it just wrong that we want to live our lives, or that disaster's already struck? Is it wrong that we just want to search for a heaven? Are we deluding ourselves, just even for a bit? I guess we're going to find out that answer tonight. Welcome to Dub Talk, where on any given night, we'll just talk about the latest and greatest in anime, but we have a very special treat for you tonight. For the first time ever, we are covering a show licensed by, of all things, Disney in asterisks.
I always knew this day was come. I just never knew when the House of Mouse was gonna come and barge our door down.
It was inevitable, I suppose.
Yeah,
Quit it!
It only makes sense that tonight I gather, I guess, the best of the best group I can find. Tonight I have with me Almon.
Hi.
Roots.
Don't they know it's the end of the world? It ended
And the
when
world as
you
we know
said
it.
Goodbye.
Jet.
If we're the best of the best, I kind of worry about your standards, buddy.
And Andrew.
Yeah, so if you want to get some good weed, you're gonna have to go through the Crocodile River, which good fucking luck with that, buckaroo.
Yeah, I can tell it's gonna be a fun one tonight.
Yeah, so this is an interesting show that's I'm very excited to talk about for sure.
Yeah, for as good as this dub is, there's a lot of catch-22s, spot catch-22s, spot catch-22s. But in case you're wondering about yourself, we'll be talking about the show Heavily Delusion.
I'm sorry. I think you mean Tengoku Daimakyo?
You can fuck right off. You know that?
Romanized titles are a trip, but it's like, if the title is more complicated to say, type, or remember, I don't think the Romanized title is the best title for the job.
I was thinking about this earlier. Why did they not just go the Demon Slayer route and have the official localized title just for both? Why are they doing this?
Do their research, I guess.
I don't even think it's about laziness. I feel like this is somebody made a weird business decision or was very stubborn about something, and that's just the way it goes.
Yeah, that's my suspicion as well. Someone somewhere in enough power.
I remember season 1 of Takagi-san was licensed as Karakai Jozu no Takagi-san.
I'm so tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's try to get through as best we can, guys. But
I love Boku no Hero Academia.
Yeah. I would bet your inner self is going like, fuck off, Andrew.
All right. Sorry, I just had to get that in there because if you're going to want to watch the show, which, spoiler alert, we really think you should watch this show, you're going to have to work for it.
Mm-hmm. Just like you're going to have to work your way through the synopsis first. Within the safety of the walls, youths are raised in a nursery-style setting by the robots. While life there may appear stale on the surface, the children are full of potential and curiosity. In many ways, it's like a slice of heaven. The outside world is a hellscape. It's almost entirely void of anything mechanical is not inhabited by bizarre yet powerful supernatural beings. Maru, with the aid of Kiriko, is out there crisscrossing what was once Tokyo for heaven. But after searching for so long, maybe heaven is more of an untenable dream than a potential reality.
Maybe. Just maybe. Heaven was the friends we made along the way.
You get out of here with that shit.
You booing me. You're booing me. It only
Bet
makes
your
me...
ass I'm booing you.
It only makes me stronger.
You can't boo him, Patrick. You just have to silently shake your head in disappointment. You can't get any power.
The only way to beat the shameless side character is to make him feel even more shame.
Speaking of feeling more shame, remember how I said there was some catch-22s?
Yeah,
as we alluded earlier... yeah, this show has an alternate title, but for the purposes of this episode, we're just gonna stick with Heavenly Delusion, because Tengoku Daimakyo is a fucking mouthful, and every time I hear Daimakyo, I just think of Demon King Daimao, a show that was dubbed by Sentai that I never even watched. So
I watched that show. It was a show.
Did it have titties? I feel like it had titties.
It was a harem.
Sounds about right. But yeah, no, Heavenly Delusion is just easier to say, easier to remember, and I made sure to ask permission, courtesy of the important member of this show's production, actually, and somebody who's actually followed the podcast for some time now, so thank you. Special regards to one Ruben Lack. We are going to be crediting you a bunch throughout tonight in particular. So thank you for taking the time.
Yes, please. I'm kind of fed up talking about that alternate title. I think we should just get right into it, don't you think?
Oh, I thought you were going to go into what was the catch-22 of Heavenly Delusion, or...
Well, the alternate title is just one of catch-22s, because Disney's heavily deluded themselves, and they think I'm going to label this episode that.
Yeah, we're not calling it Tengoku Daimakyo. I just think it's fun, because it's absurd to me. It's easier to say Heavenly Delusions. Romanized titles, it's kind of like... If the Romanized title is easier to say or type out, then I get it. Kekai Sensen is far simpler to say and type than Blood Blockade Battlefront. In that regard, I get it. But if it's like... If the title's already long and complicated in English, make it more complicated in Japanese just is silly. Like, we make fun of Boku no Hero Academia because you are literally adding slightly more work for no payoff.
Yeah, but especially since, literally means the exact same thing.
It's also the whole Attack on Titan, Shingeki no Kyojin. It's tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme. I just dropped my phone.
Oh, I thought you were that angry. Speaking of hard work and payoff, why don't we talk about ADR staff?
I would love to. I would love to talk about the staff on this one.
So, the interesting thing of this is, it's mainly an LA dub. However, it's not your typical LA dub. For one, it was dubbed by a studio called Dubbing Brothers, which, if I remember correctly, they actually did most of the recent Eva redub movies.
Oh, yeah, that was where I recognized the name. I was like, oh, wow, it's those guys.
And some alternate language tracks for other shows as well, but I'm not getting into that right now. What I am getting to is our main ADR director. That would be one Felicia Angel, who's also directed other shows such as Grimgar, Ashes, and Illusions. Speaking of alternate titling, Keikabacho Ultimate Girl Beats Boys, and Sky Wizards Academy, because always remember your first. We have two script writers for this, however. For the bulk of the show, we have Madeline Morris, who's also written for Beastar season 2, Girlfriend season 1, and other side picnic. Because believe me, I am gonna reference that. Maybe not a whole lot, but I will reference it. But 2 of the episodes, I want to say 6 and 9. Yeah, thanks. I'll play you. That fucked everything up. We also have Emily Fajardo, who's also written for Black Rock Shooter, or I'm gonna break that up as well. Galaxy Express 999, Eternal Fantasy, and Thermite Romai Nove. And of course, we have to thank Mr. Ruben Lack for the most part, doing a lot of the legwork when it came to marketing the show, both he and Felicia.
It is extremely unfair to really have the bulk of the marketing of the fact that this dub came out, and when it was coming out at irregular times, exclusively on a person whose job is not to market it. He's the manager of the English dubbing operations for Disney stuff. And Felicia's the director of the dub. But, like, there is no dedicated account that says when stuff goes up on Hulu. It's not even clear when it was going up on Hulu. In fact, these episodes were already up on Disney Plus around the world, and it was unclear when they were going to pop up on Hulu as it was airing. So they had to do a bulk of the legwork to try and tell people, okay, yes, the dub is going to come out on this day. We appreciate your patience, thank you very much. And it wasn't always consistent. It was sometimes just, like, sometimes it would miss a week or two. And I think the last 4 episodes came out, like, weeks later. I don't understand what happened there. Why did it just not go up simultaneously? What the fuck was that about? We're going to maybe... Okay, can we just spend, like, 3 to 5 minutes bitching about the Hulu infrastructure before we sing our praises to this crew?
Yeah, because I wanted to point out that catch-22 as well. So, as Andrew pointed out. So, the episodes... Okay, here's how it worked. The sub came out on Disney. The dub came out on Disney 2 weeks after the sub. However, we didn't get in the US until 2 weeks after that.
Because all of the Disney Plus original anime around the world are not on Disney Plus in the US. They're Hulu. They're Hulu originals for some fucking reason. It's very unclear why.
Because they want people to get Hulu subs, and Hulu only exists in the United States.
Less complicated reason is... Okay, well, no, not less complicated, but just, I guess, more stupid marketing stuff. Disney as a brand here is different than in other parts of the world, and Disney brand over here probably does not want anime with, like, boobs and stuff on their service. That's not a great look, so, yeah.
I get that, but, like, we're gonna be at the point where it's like, I think you could just content rate stuff on Disney Plus anyways.
And, you know...
Yeah.
I completely understand your point, Jet, but on that note, Disney Plus has recently put on the Netflix Marvel shows and both Deadpool movies, so...
Yeah,
Jack of all trades, master of none.
The Jack of all trades, like, the argument about the not wanting anime stuff is whatever, but you just mentioned Deadpool, and that involves Ryan Reynolds getting pegged.
Okay, I see. I agree with you, Patrick, and generally, you're correct, that is hypocritical in general, but at the same time, can you imagine this show specifically on, like, US Disney, just some random parent coming across that, like...
At this point,
random parents don't monitor what their children watch anymore, let's be real.
I just asked Noah. I'm
Terrifying.
curious if his children know what a skibbity toilet is yet. They probably do, and I pray for that man. But yeah.
Boy.
So, I'm sorry. Did I hurt you specifically with that one, Patrick? That's right. You're an uncle, so you feel the pain too.
But yeah, it is. It's really funny knowing that this show specifically is associated with Disney. That's just That's so funny.
And
which is weird because and I didn't clarify this. This is not actually the first show on Disney that they had dubbed, but it is.
This is not
the better dub. This is the better dub than the other two, that being Summertime Rendering and Black Rock Shooter Dodgeball, which
fun fact
that
both of those dubs existed prior to the current English localization Disney team being formed. I confirmed that piece of information specifically, and it makes a lot of sense, and it's a lot clearer actually.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Which,
yeah,
like,
Tokyo Revengers was the first one.
It was Tokyo Revengers Season 2. Tokyo Revengers Season 2 and Heavenly Delusion, which Ruben was confirming to me that, like, he was the one that kind of basically got all these teams together, and he was very involved in a lot of behind-the-scenes work, casting approvals, getting to listen to the final mixes, all that jazz. I think he was involved in a lot of the sessions. So it's very much clear that, like, he was involved in getting a bunch of the teams, both for Tokyo Revengers Season 2, and especially gathering the team for Heavenly Delusions, which is not surprising to me, because I believe back during his days at Ayuno, I believe both Madeline Morris and Emily Fajardo had actually scripted on some of their dubs during his time at that studio, actually.
They did, actually.
So, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Getting Felicia was very much a good call. He wanted me to shout out the fact that she was very dedicated to this project. They had all the information known ahead of time, and she had, like, a conspiracy theory board of all the characters and all of their stuff throughout the story. So it was very clear there was a lot of attention to detail about what was going on and when things were going on. So, yeah, I wanted to shout out Felicia and Gilles in particularly, and the work Ruben did getting this crew together. So, oh, sorry, I'm talking about good things. I didn't finish talking shit about Hulu. What the fuck is up with that player?
So, fun fact, we have all had a weird experience with the last episode skipping to something.
And it's always different. I was able to catch it, but there was times where it's like I was finishing episode 9, and it was going to skip to episode 11, but I backed out and caught it ahead of time. Before we started recording, we had a conversation with Amon here. He literally did not see episode 10 because he did not realize it skipped past episode 10.
Where plot-wise, where 9 ends and 11 begins are close enough that I just assumed I zoned out and missed something they explained.
So the pack,
it was just like, whatever. Gotta finish the fucking show for the podcast.
That's inexcusable. The fact that has happened for multiple episodes, and we're literally doing this, we're not made aware of how bad the random episode skipping was, because they would skip an episode ahead on the automatic playthrough, and, like, we didn't even notice.
Yeah, and to be clear, like, you know, I mean, terrible QC stuff happens with a lot of video players and stuff, but like, it shouldn't happen with, like, you know, stuff you're subscribing to, but, like, but like, no services where these things happen.
Sometimes technical difficulties happen when you're doing a simulcast. That I get.
Yeah.
But you know, it's important. But it's also important to address these things when they happen relatively quickly. This has been a thing for like the last, I don't know, like at least 4 or 5 months.
Let me take a look at when the Heavenly Delusion dub premiered on Hulu.
Now, while
April
he's
April
looking
22nd.
Oh, there we go.
April 20th.
So then they aired it for like 3 months. So it's been 6 months since the dub finished, in theory, and it's still fucked up to kind of watch it in a sequential marathon on Hulu.
Now, you guys, at the very least, it skipped to something related to Heavenly Delusion. When it did it for me multiple times, for some reason, Hulu thought it a wise idea to put on Fairy Gone.
Fucking, oh my god.
I am so sorry, Patrick.
I do apologize about that we're kind of harping on this, because this is kind of the only section we can really talk about our actual gripes with trying to watch this show that we all really liked. And spoiler alerts, we all adored this English dub. It's actually going to get a lot of high praises, and Ruben, Felicia, Madeline, and Emily, like, fucking high praises across the board for all of your contributions and the entire cast and crew. Fucking bang up job. It's such a shame that nobody was promoting this fucking thing but you guys, that watching it and finding it on Hulu is an act of trying to find the Shrine of the Silver Monkey and fucking, like... Yeah, just trying to watch episode 1 through 13 in a marathon is not so simple that one of our own hosts missed an episode because it played an episode after it.
It's goofy that this is even up. It's 2023. Like, I watch stuff on Hulu all the time. I've never encountered this problem. I've never encountered this problem at a streaming site. Here's a fun fact. I have episode 10 pulled up, so I can watch it later. If you have it paused on your browser, it'll show you up next. Do you want to know what episode is going to play after I finish watching this?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's episode 12, yeah. You know what? You know what it is? Someone fucked up some bit of programming on the back end, and they haven't fixed it.
We want to recommend people watch this show. We really like it. We have some problems with it. We'll get into that. But we really like this show. We want to share this with people. Why is it so hard?
The back end fucked up so much, I was almost in the panic earlier today marathoning this, because for some reason, the episodes disappeared on me. I had to go back to the previous episode. Luckily, it said play from this episode, and I had to hit the next button on it. And then it tells me it's a fucking communication error.
That's...
But yeah, just there's a lot of technical prowess that went into this project. A lot of love, care, and passion went into this project. There's a lot of neat little things I discovered about this. Oh, also, here's a fun thing I want to shout out about the actual ADR section. I discovered that the mic was apparently slightly further away than it normally is for anime, with the goal to make it have a more authentic sound, not like a usual bassy or chesty voice as it usually would if you're kind of like right there for anime.
Oh.
Neat.
Which, yeah, I saw some pictures, and it's like, yeah, the mic is further back than it normally would be. It does make it sound a little more natural. Because the vibe of this show is that it's very much... It's a mix of The Last of Us. It's a mix of, like, Promised Neverland, post-apocalypse, a smidge of Made in Abyss, which, yes, that means exactly what you think it is, depending on who you're asking. But it's like...
Maybe throwing a little I Am Legend.
A little I Am Legend. But yeah, it's like, it's a lot of like chaos at the end of the world, but a lot of it is the intimacy of all these characters like interacting and hanging out and befriending each other at the end of the world. And that vibe is absolutely coming across in the entire dub production. And like a lot of this is going to be praising the cast and crew, because this is a union project, and this is a union project with people from all across the country. Because like there's people from LA, there's people from Dallas, even a lot of people I don't regularly see from Dallas and LA dubs too. This is a cool project. There's a lot of people I don't typically see in anime dubs getting to play major characters. This is a cool project. You can tell a lot of people worked really hard on this cool project, and all the people that, like, seriously, Ruben, we love you, man. You deserve to continue to make cool anime dubs for the mouse. Whatever that is. It could be that Ishura show that's coming up. It could be that Dragons of the hybrid one from the Promised Neverland artists. Like that one, the Dragon show. Like that would be a cool one I'd like to see dubbed.
Yeah, I mean, it probably wouldn't happen, but I would appreciate a Sensuality Noir dubbed.
Sensuality Noir, yeah, that would be neat too. Just,
yeah.
You like, the team's, the mouse is picking up some cool stuff, and we hope you continue to work on some really cool dubs to spread the word, because we will sing your praises. We will show that shit.
Yeah. Disney dub more stuff so that
Fucking
Ruben can work on it, and then you, the Disney execs, can sing the Stand Wrong song.
Mm-hmm.
And
So,
do
yeah.
the repentant dance.
So let us make it clear that all of our gripes are not with the team that is dubbing this anime. If anything, this team is so strong that we wanted to push for this episode to happen. But
Yep.
we had to talk about the shitty act of actively trying to watch this show because it's actually a problem and it's a barrier of entry. At least for us in the US. For our buddies in Canada and elsewhere, it's probably a simpler affair.
Or you could, just run a VPN and watch it on Disney Plus.
Oh yeah, you.
I do just wonder if the folks at Disney and Hulu just do not talk to each other for some reason.
I'm going to assume that communications are big companies. There are people that just do not talk to each other. That doesn't surprise me. But
Basically.
Absolutely. I think of the number of times people are like, don't Marvel
Fuck
movies
no.
and Marvel comics talk to each other? I'm like, no, they don't. Are you stupid? Do you not know how corporations work? No.
Just there's a lot of that could go into a lot of the technical aspects of this, but legit, Felicia, Ruben, Maddie, Emily, all the cast and crew. This is a fucking killer team.
Very.
Very much agreed.
Mm-hmm. I will say, though, because one of my thoughts was it takes a special kind of person to direct a show like this, and I could tell Felicia had something if you ever follow her on any given day. Especially now you tell me she had conspiracies about certain characters.
Well, less a conspiracy and more she had the Pepe Sylvia board of where characters were at any given time and all that. And it's like, you know what? That's good to know that information, especially when you're working with the show, as it's revealed later, on a very differing timeline between the two stories.
Yeah.
Which, my God, that was a fucking great twist, by the way. We'll get to that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but having that mentality to work on a show like this, she fucking pulled it off very easy. Well, it was hard enough, but it was very easy for her. And then you have Maddie and Emily on scripts, which I didn't really. Everything kind of played out pretty smooth. Although I forgot Maddie was on this, I was like, there was a couple lines I was like, yeah, it's definitely Maddie.
I think Maddie's writing definitely shines a lot in just the conversational road trip energy between Maru and Kiriko. A lot of her dialogue especially shines because she's a good comedy writer, but she's also a very good character writer too. And I think a lot of it is just capturing the exact right energy that these two dorks traveling together at the end of the world would encapsulate. And that's hard to do, especially when you're working with anime dialogue, which sometimes can be a little bit over the top and silly and onomatopoeia-y. As you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, and probably Amon could attest to this because we were both on the Otherworld Picnic episode. I definitely got sort of those conversational vibes from the Heavenly Delusion dub as well.
Yeah, so this is the dream team right here.
It's a strong crew, and I'm excited to talk about the rest of the characters for sure. Anyways, let Ruben and his team dub more stuff. We will sing its praises.
Let the man cook.
Let the motherfucker cook. Mm-hmm. The only reason we're not singing the praises of Tokyo Revengers is because we've already done an episode on that. And it's cool that dub flipped Union, and this is also a Union project too, so that's pretty cool too.
Mm-hmm.
Amen. I think we're good to move on here, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to say anything actually.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can cut that little bit out.
No, it's cool. I mean, I don't really have too much more to add. I thought Felicia's writing was, Felicia's directing was really on board. I liked how natural a lot of performances sounded, and I thought a lot of the actors bounced up each other really well, and we liked a lot of the casting and how fine and that thing
Oh yeah,
managed
I
to
forgot to talk about
toss out with
that.
this one.
Yeah,
Sorry, and then
no,
like
go
writing
ahead.
wise, I would and then writing wise, I didn't like Madeline's script. I thought she I thought the show had the right balance between between good humor and a strong sense of mystery, and I definitely liked how well a lot of the characters kind of bounce off each other in their dialogue, especially a lot of stuff between Kiriko and Maru, since they do kind of carry a lot of the show in a sense. But yeah, good stuff.
Oh yeah, thanks for reminding me. I had one more point to add, then we can move on. I like the fact that despite this is an LA dub, Felicia carefully and craftily casted her characters appropriately. Because she did all the casting herself, which I really like, because at least she's able to understand the nuances of these characters very specifically, you know?
I mean, approvals probably went to like Ruben and the other people in the team too, which I actually did find out the leads were a callback, which you typically don't get a callback for anime stuff like this. So I think that's neat.
That is neat.
But yeah,
And speaking of characters, are we good to move on?
yeah, no, I'm good to move on.
So I'm not gonna lie, the next section is basically just plot devices. These are minor characters, but they do have some major impact on some of the major characters in this show. Some of. First off, we have Tao. I mean, he's one of the academy students. Kind of gives Tokyo this drive to search for what's on the outside of the outside. Has a body wasting disease, and he kind of ups and passes away by the end of episode 5.
As you
To
do.
which they cremate him, and then they find out there's like something inside of him.
Yeah,
What it
yeah. A
is?
lot of those children are kind of not really human, and that's just kind of a thing. Which, speaking of non-human children, Ashura.
Yeah, Ashura. I guess the object of Koda's affection. She comes to realizes why she's been born, and as a result, leaves Koda and decides to commit suicide. Which, yeah, we should. If you haven't heard the disclaimer by now, this is kind of heavy, even for
It's
a show
a
like this.
show about the post-apocalypse and a lot of people that are in bad situations and sometimes do very bad things to each other. More on that later.
Yeah.
But Ashura
then
is
we
just
have-
kind of an alien, and yeah, sure, why not?
Basically. What's not alien is Totally, because my god.
No, she's not an alien. She's an entrepreneur. This girl can get it.
Wants to be king of the hotels one day.
Hey, okay, hey. You gotta say her whole master plan. Step 1, get the cleanest futons in the region. Step 2, fuck all the people that aren't gross nasty. Step 4, profit.
Why did I know you were going with that meme?
Because you don't think as fast as I do, Jamal. That's what happens.
We all know Andrew's game by now.
Yeah, we all know the game. Independent just lost. But anyway, yeah, she's basically wants to be an entrepreneur. The only reason I put her in here is because at one point, she catches Maru doing almost something inappropriate, and then she kind of wants to get buck nasty, I guess, in return. And then
Look, you don't fuck on my futons. I worked very hard to keep them clean and cozy. And look, this futon's fine. You're pretty fine. Now take those pants off, boy.
Yeah, and as a result, Maru comes to find out the hard way that there's something up with these humans, because he almost inadvertently kills Totally. And then he calls in Kiriko.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, it was at that moment he knew.
He fluffed up. There's a level of like I enjoy some crass innuendo, and just literally just calling Kiriko, just be like, sis, it went in. It went in where? And
Record
then
scratch, freeze frame.
Oh.
You're probably wondering how I got in this situation.
you poor baby boy. And then there's Juichi.
Yeah, Juichi. Come to
Juichi's
find out,
power is van.
his power is bad. He's a vagabond who kind of inadvertently scams Kiriko Maru for their money by just telling these false lies, which one of them was actually the truth. He used to be a boy that was holed up in school in this building run by women between the ages of 20 and 40, he says. And used as a breeding pig, which...
lot of gender ethics, post-apocalypse scenarios to go through there. But yeah, he was the guy that got out. But the child he had with a couple that liked his vibe and wanted to see how he was doing, that didn't go so well. And he wanted to find his kid.
He wanted to find his kids, which he eventually did later on, but not before we found out that that kid is what they call a Hiriko.
Oh yeah, by the way, sorry, Amon. We're going to have to spoil the entirety of that episode to talk about Juichi, a.k.a. Jodo.
It's fine.
I'm sorry. Like, it's a cool episode,
I
too.
know,
That's why I feel bad.
You still need to see it, though.
I'll be honest. I am only sad because I thought it was more interesting when he made up a story that kind of reflected reality, and it's like, oh no, he's just not lying about that. It's like, well, that's probably gonna be cool too. But
one thing I learned from Kiriko in the manga is that in order to deceive somebody, you have to have 9 parts truth and the other part be a lie. So you're not totally wrong there. It's just we didn't really know until later on when he begs Kiriko and Maru for help.
Oh yeah, speaking of manga, you want to take a second to shout out Dempa Comics for a sec?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, thank you, Dempa Comics, because I have been enjoying the manga so far. However, there is one problem, and I will get to that in final thoughts. Actually, I'll get to that in the plugs.
Okay. But, no, yeah, like, Dempa Comics, little up-and-coming manga publisher. They're doing some really good work. Found out originally that this manga was kind of bombing for them, actually.
Yeah, I think you said it was kind of...
It was doing very poorly for them, actually, and if this was, like, the mid-2000s, probably just would have been canceled without trace. But then the anime got announced, they're like, what, let's take a chance. Let's do another print run. And now it's actually really successful for them because of this really good anime, and people are like wanting to catch up. And you know what? You love a story like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, if you didn't want to pick up the physicals, you could always use K-Manga.
Not a chance in hell.
Andrew,
Not a chance.
Andrew, that's a cruel. Andrew, someone who doesn't know K-Manga's deal is gonna hear this, and they're gonna assume that you're being serious, and they're going for a bad
Hey guys,
time. Do
you like splitting up chapters into 3 parts, and you have to pay $1 for each part? K-Manga.
I am glad it's doing well for them, just because I could buy it wasn't doing great for them before, just because I have an idea of the kind of stuff Dempa puts out.
For sure, but
Delusion.
I'm glad they're putting it out.
I'm glad they're doing well.
No, I just in the sense that like normal people would read Heavenly Delusion, and what they mostly put out is either really weird or really
And sometimes Fate.
Well.
And sometimes
I'm glad they're doing well. You know who else is doing well?
Who else is doing well, Jamal?
These actors.
Ah.
Tao is voiced by Sanfi Wen, who, if you've heard, is Menma in Anohana, Hidomi in Fuli Kuli Progressive, and Nana Mifune in Gleipnir. Ashura is voiced by Elle, who has no other anime roles, but she is Muriel Salkiewicz in Starfield.
So is her name just Elle? Like just credited as ELL?
Yeah, that's how it's credited, so we're gonna stick with that for
Alright, cool. That's very interesting. Alright.
Totally is voiced by Deneen Melody, who you've heard as Mari Illustrious Makanami in the Amazon redub of the Ava movies.
Oh yeah, that's a whole saga.
Anzu Hoshino in Romantic Killer. And Ranye Arabelle in Sword Art Online Alicization.
Cool.
Juichi is voiced by Jonah Sky, who you've heard as Raiden Suga in 86, Courier in Akudama Drive, and Legoshi in Beastars.
So how you want to do this one? Just kind of like we all go around, or
well, obviously we're gonna save Juichi for last because he kind of has a little more to do in this.
yeah, he's kind of like the
section.
rest of these is kind of like you could just kind of go like, but then Juichi is like there's a lot more to tear into.
Yep.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna go into it. Tarao, Xanthi Wynn does a very good job playing a little sickly boy who gets friend zoned and fucking dies, as you do.
Can we just say that I've never heard Xanthi Wynn play a little boy before?
Okay, she has played little boys before, but it's not as common as like some of her like little girls.
Okay, thank you for clearing that up.
I will look it up. Somebody else continue, because I guarantee you I've heard her as like a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing's coming to mind, but I'm pretty sure I've heard of
Okay.
one.
Like, there really wasn't a lot to the character, so I don't really have a lot to say, but the performance was pretty good.
Yeah, performance was
Yeah.
good. I felt a little bad. I felt a little bad he died, but yeah.
Yeah.
You know, acting good, dead child sad.
Yeah, smooth. Yeah, Taro didn't do much. He does have an impact on the other characters. Even shows up in a flashback at one point. But that little disease of his,
Well-
I did see it in
Well,
in like
technically
a couple.
speaking, the entirety of the heaven section is a flashback.
Yeah, to the point. Yeah, but well,
We have to get to
a
that
point.
later.
We don't exactly know. This is an unusual narrative. I don't see this often in shows like these, but I get what you get there.
Heavenly Delusion is cool because it is a show that trusts the viewer to stick around and figure out what the mystery is without telling you everything up front.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get more to the narrative later at some point. Yeah, Xanthi Wynn did good. Wasn't there as much?
Oh, she's baby Alejandro Saab in Link Click.
Oh God! Oh God!
I found one.
I forgot about
I
that.
found one.
I forgot about that, but Link Click is a different story altogether, and one I'm not ready to revisit just yet. So, okay, Alice Ashura. I've never heard of her before, but I know they put a filter on her, but she did pretty good as this alien-like creature who committed suicide, but man,
Is she dead though?
here's the what?
I mean, it certainly seems so. There's no particular evidence to suggest that's not the case.
Like she's around. I just don't know if like that means.
Okay. I mean, if you mean around, if by around you mean like maybe saying her, I mean, we already kind of know that maybe Hime's whole deal was like she sees time differently, so it might not even necessarily be like she's seeing Asura in the present, but kind of like looking back to the past when that happened.
There's also that one moment in the infirmary Tokyo sees her in a dream.
Yeah, that's a whole. That poor girl is going through so much mental trauma.
Yeah, basically.
But no, Elle
But-
does a really good job sounding like this very strange, inhumane creature
Oh yeah.
with a very bulbous little gray alien head.
Any other thoughts on Ashura before we move?
She's fine.
Because Deneen as Totally, she was fine too, but holy shit,
I
those
love this sassy entrepreneur.
I want her to get a
I
stab.
kind of love how unabashedly shameless she is in her dreams and her goals.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what? You live your life, girl. You get that dick.
Yeah,
Don't mess up the
that's,
futons.
Just literally any other futon. Just don't touch those. I worked really hard. Do you know how hard it is trying to get semen or blood and guts out of that shit? Like, that's a lot of work. That's like a whole week for me, dude. So keep that shit out of my fucking hotel and get in my bed, and I'm gonna fucking break your pelvis. That girl has goals, dreams, aspirations. I wish her nothing but the best.
yeah, I felt kind of bad that like all her friends and family are now gone. That's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer where she's like, yeah, no, the people I know and love are dead because of a mutant bear. But I'm going to keep at it. I wish her well. I hope she's doing all right.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was a bummer to what was otherwise probably the funniest episode of the show.
But Deneen herself is delightfully funny and delightfully very amusing character.
Yeah, I liked her as Totally. I just wish Totally didn't look like Ruka from Rent a Girlfriend, but that's just me.
Okay.
I resemble that remark.
I mean, I'd say just because you're correct doesn't mean you're right, but honestly, you're not wrong.
That's kind of the impasse we have reached. You are.
Speak for yourself. I don't know what you're talking about.
Amon just in his lane, just completely unaware of the.
Rent a girlfriend looks stupid. I do not engage.
I don't
with it.
either.
What's y'all's
It's just an
problem?
observation.
Amon, I could just tell you completely out of context stuff, like how people have been memeing a guy getting a boner at a pool for months now.
Oh, I remember that part. Like, look, I don't voluntarily engage with Rent a Girlfriend.
So,
I learned about
yeah.
you people.
Rent a
Y'all
Girlfriend
talk
is one
about
of those everything I know about this show is against my will.
And I watched exactly one season and went never again.
A little bit.
I'm glad Alex.
Also, you laughed when I told you that the first time on Discord, man.
I'm glad Alex Lee is doing well for himself. He's
You
not
know
showing
who's
up.
better off as
He's
well?
not showing up tonight, but I'm just glad that guy is doing well for himself.
You know who's also better off?
Jonah Scott.
Yuichi.
Ah,
Yep.
okay.
Well, better off.
Well,
Better off
look,
is kind of a subjective statement, depending how
Yeah.
you view a story. So, Jonah Scott is a really fucking good actor.
Oh, yeah.
Jonah Scott's a really good actor, but I almost kind of worry that I think people kind of typecast him as, like, the really, like, cool, suave guy for, like, a lot of his stuff. That he's either, like, the kind of awkward, lanky guy, or they cast him as, like, the really cool, like, suave, hot, big brother kind of character. So I kind of love that he plays Juichi, who is kind of this gross little freak of nature. Because, like, Juichi's not really cool. He's just kind of, like, this freaky little, like...
He's kind of a weirdo.
He's just kind of this freaky little guy that he's just kind of, like, trying to scam people on stories when he's actually dealing with his own genuine, like, trauma and survivor's guilt. So, like, when he deals with, like, the actual realization that, oh, no, my child is alive after all... Like, the weirdo guy facade, where he's just kind of this freaky little lanky fuck. And Jonah plays him as this weird little lanky fuck. So, like, when the facade actually drops and he's reunited with his child, and he's just actively, like, breaking down on the verge of tears, like, I'm genuinely fucking feeling for him. And, like, Jonah's fucking really going for it and really making me feel a lot in that moment.
Yeah.
I was like really impressed.
Yeah, I thought Duna had a really good range here, in between kind of sounding pretty shifty when you first meet the guy, like just clearly somebody who can't trust. And then sort of like, and kind of slowly building a rapport with Kiriko and Maru, and I thought, and I thought they made like a fun little trio for like the brief amount of time they were together.
Like even for the 2 episodes that they exist in, they have a fun chemistry together. Like I wouldn't even say he like does a pervy thing. He's just like, hey, you're gonna go in this town that's run by women. They are a lot of them are uncomfortable but big tits. So you be careful there. You be careful there, my dude. He's just a weird guy, and like I love episode 10 that makes them all look like a bunch of weirdo guys. And you know, I'm all about that shit.
So does a good job sort of between like the shiftiness and the comedy, and then like the whole tragedy of the situation where like where he's still bitter about the fact that his escape attempt got ruined. And, he's kind of bad about it. He's kind of bad he got betrayed.
There's this tragedy in the sense that he effectively got his happy ending. His enemies are dead, his child is alive, and the people that were victims and, like, prisoners managed to escape and start a life of their own.
Yep.
But because he knows exactly who was the guy that narked on him, that, like, his friends and his children are dead because he yelled that there was an escape going on, he took that fucker out in a very violent way. That is a very good, very violent scene, and you could see that, like, there's this very, like, unsettling way that he's just wiping the trickle of blood off of his child's face as he's just, like, solemnly, like, smiling and being a parent. See you bye-bye is a very good catchphrase. Really made that stick. Oh, man.
George, I don't know where else to bring it up. It's something I remember hearing from, like, an episode of Nani and After Show I was watching, where they were kind of talking about Delusion for a while. And I'm not totally sure it's the case, because, again, like, they show a lot of fake mysteries. But they were speculating that the couple Juichi was with might have been those 2 girls who were hanging out a lot.
Oh my god!
What?
Oh!
No.
Oh! Yeah. I'm gonna be honest. That's not even too far-fetched. That's not even too far-fetched of a theory. I can't rule that out. Cause in heaven, there is that lesbian couple that are just like kissing and like being flirty with each other. And like, oh, that's so upsetting. But that's so possible. Oh, man. Oh, man, this show's a lot. But yeah, my final thesis is Jonah Scott is really good at playing cool, suave, sexy, big brother type characters. Let him play more fucking weirdos, because when he gets to play weirdos, he gets to play characters like Juichi, and he's really fucking good at characters like Juichi.
Oh yeah.
And like the best part about his performance as Juichi, particularly with episode 9, before you really start seeing the character evolve, you can literally smell it before you hear it.
Oh. He does smell very slimy, yeah.
Like, he plays Juichi, in his initial appearance in episode 9, where he's trying to scam him. Like, he plays it with such a level of grease. It's great.
Very good grease.
And then watching it evolve in episode 10, just mwah.
Jonah Scott's a damn good actor.
Yeah, he is.
Like, everybody knows him as like the meme lord, and he's a really good actor. He's a really good actor.
Dude definitely showed his worth, especially in episode 10, because I still remember how the whole thing went down. But that twist where he
Yeah, that's a good twist.
what the hell was it? It was just a rotating saw, but holy shit!
That's a very violent way to take somebody out. There's a lot. That is one of those. If you're taking somebody out that way, there's a lot of anger and passion into that kill.
And I never saw that coming the first time I watched it.
Never saw that coming.
Shut up.
No.
Deo.
I was not making a Persona reference on purpose, I swear to you.
What the fuck do you mean a Persona reference?
I just thought that was a regular pun.
It's a pun.
No.
It's a pun.
No.
He used a saw. He used a saw. And you're like, he never saw that coming. And I'm like, ha ha ha. What the fuck does that have to do with Persona?
Okay, I get it. Okay, I get it now. But yeah, that was a different pun.
How dare you? I was making a very clever observational pun by the weapon and the word saw, and you think I'm making a cheapo reference. Fuck you. I'm a connoisseur. I workshop this stuff. I'm not making a Family Guy reference. I'm serving you gourmet puns, motherfucker.
Yeah, cool. Anyway, I was not making a joke. The only thing I would say is, anybody else have any thoughts on Juichi? Or
I'm sorry.
because there's not much to add here.
I didn't mean to bust your balls about that. I was just offended because I was like, hey, I made a good one. I made it funny.
Anyway, do we have any more thoughts, or are we good to move on?
I think we're good.
Jonas Scott
has a very great voice.
I would listen to him tell actual stories. He sounds great.
Yeah.
Let Jonas Scott play more freaks.
Let most actors play more freaks. It's an undervalued
Damn right. I think we're going to be talking about a couple of those in the next section.
Yep. Yep. Few undervalued and maybe a couple assholes.
Yeah.
Almost time to just rip that bandit.
All right, yeah, let's get to it.
Yeah, so we pretty much have... Our next section is basically the medical section here, because we have some of our characters from the academy, which, thanks to Juichi, we learned it's Takahara Academy, by the way.
Yeah. So a lot of these are prevalent as, like, the caretakers in the heaven section, with a couple of them being survivors and perseverers in the hell section.
And then we have a couple people who we discovered this broken down world. One's a doctor, one's not actually.
Yeah, alright. So who are we talking about?
We have the director of the academy. I'm pretty sure she has a name, but I cannot confirm it just yet.
I mean, her name is probably false because that woman is hiding a bunch of bullshit. Like the fact that she can walk.
She can walk. The last thought you have before your head's caved in.
That's such a great bit. Like, everybody's being like, wait, you could just walk the whole time?
Yeah. Just look up the word ambulatory when you get the chance. We also have her assistant, Aoshima. She recently... There's a whole web of deceit behind this. So, the director recently promoted her to assistant.
She basically promoted her to be the assistant because it's like, oh, hey, I want to be a vampire that lives forever. I'm gonna Orochimaru you and turn you into my new, younger, hotter body.
Yeah, it is kind of funny you go into this thinking that, like, all the adults are kind of like a united front and kind of manipulate the kids. But it's like, oh no, they all have their own, like, weird motivations. Like, they're all kind of doing their own thing.
They're all kind of like this weird, shitty cult, and they themselves... You assume that... Here's what it is. You go into this assuming they are the survivors at the end of the world, when you find out in reality, they're probably the progenitors of the end of the world.
Probably.
Vault-Tech
ass lunatic. I think you were going into this and being like, man, this scratches the Fallout anime itch I never knew I needed.
Do you know how there's a lot more pre-existing post-apocalyptic in this than I thought it was, down to the point of I was reading a plot summary of a movie that I'm familiar with, but I've not read, A Dog and His Boy. Oh. And it turns out that has a lot more in common with episode 10 than I thought it did. I guess. All right, sure. Whatever. This Look, the post-apocalyptic fiction is good right here.
Anyways.
Characters.
We also have Dr. Sawatari, I guess the caretaker, part of the caretaker of these children. We've come to find out, like, towards the end, that he discovers the good director's secret and is kind of very furious at why everything's taking place. To one point where everything just shuts down after an attack, and he kind of mixes up the babies, but that wasn't his fault. Somebody attacked the school.
Yeah, I kind of forgot that, like, the actual motivation for Maru is, I need to find heaven, and I need to find somebody that looks exactly like me. And then it's like, oh yeah, there were two of them.
The weird thing about the mix-up is we don't even know what the mix-up
We don't know what the actual mix-up is. We just know that there was one, and it probably did go to the wrong hands. I like that it happened in an almost, like, comical, like, sitcom-y way when it's a very dire situation.
Yeah, he just tourniquets his head with his tie. He's completely bleeding and out from acids. Everything okay? He's like, yeah, it's nothing, just but a scratch.
It's like that. You're hurt? I'm fine. 'Tis but a scratch. And it's like, I can't believe you got a Monty Python reference at the end there. A+, Maddie.
Yeah, we also have Mina, the school's AI, is in charge of security and making sure these students are...
And maybe the birth giver? Maybe?
No, she... Okay, so Mina's basically just the AI for the other robots as well. Running a variety of functions from security to caretaking.
Look, it was a conscious decision to create a pregnant robot.
What's funny is I think the director mentioned at one point that this whole academy is like her body. So I guess she's able to keep track on anything and everything that's going on within the school. To the point that she follows the good director's orders and tries to take Tokyo's baby towards the end. What happens next? We
don't know because season 2 is going to take a couple of years because this is a very immaculately put together show, and it takes several more years to put together miraculously put together second season of this quality.
Yeah, then we get to the end of the world. We have Alright, so Kiriko about going to this one downtown, trying to find what's called the Immortal Order. So they come across what they thought was the leader, but it's actually a leader for the other group called the Delusion, Mitsuhashi.
They're basically a bunch of crazy cultists that are like, we reject all machines! Which means that if any of them had a pacemaker, they would just rip their heart out to prove a point. Basically crazy hippie cultists.
So Kiriko might take a job from her having to kill off what's supposed to be the Immortal Order's weapon. This Hiriko they have been hiding underground. They even had like one old man on the inside at running security on it. So they go into this building and they find the Hiriko. They kill it, and then this other doctor comes out from hiding out of nowhere. Notices that Maru has killed the Hiriko and offers him another opportunity. We're talking about Dr. Usami here. Like I said earlier, he's not a doctor. Basically, he even said himself, he just builds prosthetics on web, and he doesn't really do it for anybody else. But this one girl she's caring for, which I learned she does.
We'll get to who he is soon enough.
God, I hope so, because it was very depressing what happened to him at the end of episode 8. You know, when after Maru kills this little thing inside this girl's body, I guess must have been something special to him because he kind of takes his own life afterwards.
So, yeah,
But you know who else's life I want to take?
Oh, yeah, let's not talk... yeah, good old Robin.
Robin Itazaki, who I thought was the member of the Asakusa Race Association, turns out he's been doing experiments in secret.
Yeah, so this dude is sketchy AF. He's... Yeah,
Okay, so we meet him in episode 3 during the flashback. And,
he's very integral to Kiriko's childhood. Both Kiriko and Haruki.
Yeah.
Very much a brother, paternal figure in their lives
brother.
that they lost track of when they
Disappeared.
how do I put it?
Yeah.
When they Nina Tuckered.
Yeah, I was gonna say, brother, but paternal figure also might have been some.
Okay, two things. As much as I want to know, we don't know exactly for sure if that was him. The anime just keeps it ambiguous.
The anime is ambiguous, but the implication that they are at least insinuating is that he is partially involved in the reason why one became two.
Yeah, then we meet up back with him again the last couple episodes, to which I thought everything was going to be okay. And,
No.
Yeah.
Guys.
This is the part where you probably just need to rip the band off.
Yeah, to which you might want to take your headphones off for a second.
Why?
Because I'm about to say something I never thought I'd ever have to say on an episode.
Sure. Okay.
I kind of want to say this about Robin because after that whole experience of the last couple episodes, I just want to say, this, like,
Woo!
okay,
Woo!
because the whole thing about it was, okay, they don't actually show it, but there's been implications that he raped Kiriko at the end.
Oh no, that's not implied. That's
not implied. It is basically shown, just surprisingly in not a terrible way, which is appreciated. But
woo!
Yeah, that is.
Woo! Okay, yeah, you got. Woo! Okay.
Yeah, so he raped Kiriko, and then when he gets caught by Maru later on, he tries to run. And then he tries to fight, which in both scenarios, big mistake.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we'll all right. Before we go into that, did you want to talk about what you wanted to say about that, Jet?
I mean, yeah, it ain't great. It is, like the rest of the show is great. That is just kind of the one, like, record scratch bit.
It's the most aggressively problematic, fucked up thing in the entire show. It very much comes out very swiftly, and it is like... It is about as fucked up and, like, triggeringly dysphoric to Kiriko as a character as it absolutely could be.
I could tell you
this a lot. It is a lot.
I can tell you this right now, there was a little more in the manga too.
I believe you. I'm not surprised to hear that.
Yeah, from what I've been told, secondhand, the manga also kind of deals with the fallout of that a little better than the anime does. But
the problem with the fallout is that we have so many minutes left on the clock of the season, so we can't really go into that too much, at least not until season 2. All right.
But let's get into place these 7 characters. The director is played by Azu Larson, whose only other role I could find is she's strength in Black Rock Shooter Dodgeball. Aoshima is played by Jefferson Bell, who you've heard as Tamaki Iwato in Suzume, and Valkyra in the Ultraman CG for Netflix.
Oh, cool.
Dr. Sawatari is played by Nick Martineau, who has no other roles that I could find. Mina is played by Lisa Ortiz, who's burning in My Hero Academia. Lena in First in Slayers. Roxanne in Ultimate Muscle. And the assortment characters, just pick anyone from the Pokemon franchise.
She's probably been somebody, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
she directs it, so I'm pretty sure she's just everywhere.
Oh yeah, she is also
Basically.
now the modern director of the Pokemon dub. You right?
Mizuhashi is played by Marcy Edwards, aka Mary Hellscream. You've heard them in as Yuka Ayukawa in Blue Period, Nevada Victory Bells, and because I'm on here, Yumiko in Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Dr. Usami is voiced by David Matranga, who's John Gaudier in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean. Reisu were Buddy Daddies and Shoto Todoroki in My Hero Academia. And last but certainly not least, Robin Inazaki is voiced by Eric Vale, who's Teppei Takamiya in BDX Neo, Kanta in Desert Punk, and Trunks in the Dragon Ball Z franchise.
So I would say to make this simpler, I think we should pair the Heaven and Hell characters separately.
Yeah,
And I think for this one, it's probably easier to go into the Heaven side of it first.
Yeah.
I think there's stuff to say, but a little less to say about that side in particular.
basically.
Yeah.
I definitely want to give a shout out to Nick Martineau, who this is
Yeah.
my first time hearing him. I get the impression that he's done a lot of live action dubs prior to like actual like anime dubs, which I gotta say he was probably one of like my surprise favorites of the show. He's got this very interesting like I don't know how to kind of like dorky quality to him. I almost want to say in that he's like a serious scientist guy that's very diligent to his work. Kind of feels spurred that like he gets passed up for a promotion that's rightfully his, only to find out the deal is you got passed up for your promotion because the other girl is basically going to be used and just chewed out for the director's insane immortality plans. And it's like that's a lot to deal with. Where he's like, yeah, I'm kind of stuck with a crazy person, and I'm trying to make sure that my friend, begrudging coworker, doesn't die. But he's also very clearly got like an emotional, like caring side to him that he really does care for these kids, all these weird kids. He genuinely does care for them and care for their well-being. But he's also dealing with a lot of bullshit and struggling. Which that's why I always think his little freak out with the twins getting switched out was very, like, dramatic, but also very amusing watching him freak out and do that. Honestly, Nick was, like, a very unique voice in this dub, and I actually think, yeah, no, for, like, what is effectively the first anime credit we could find him of, he was a very, very interesting standout performance in my mind.
Oh, yeah.
Shout-outs also to Jennifer Sunbell as Aoshima, who I think just has this very good, like, maternal quality, but also very, like, trying her best to keep this ship afloat. Because this is a very rocky boat. Led by... Oh, man, the director is a piece of work.
Mm-hmm.
That is a crazy lady.
Very crazy.
Yeah, I do kind of appreciate how they sort of slowly splits because in the first few episodes, they're kind of meant to be like, oh, okay, this girl seems very shady, but you are given the impression that she does care about the kids on some level, and like,
She seems like a nice lady that wants the best for these kids. Nope!
Oh,
Yeah, she wants the best for these kids, so she has a nice selection of bodies.
Yeah.
Like the mask slips, and she kind of goes from, like, benevolent old lady that's trying to shield these kids from a cruel world to literal Disney villain, I want to steal your baby so I can feed my nutrients into my old soul.
yeah.
Quite the character arc.
Oh, yeah.
Like, look, she's probably not going to eat that baby, but it's Heavenly Delusion. You can't prove that she wasn't not going to eat that baby either.
If there's like if there's like maybe one complaint I have about Aju's performance, and it is kind of like maybe a bit of a weird one potentially. I didn't like like I don't know. I guess it's kind of weird and stuff, but I do feel like she maybe sounded like a little young for what's supposed to be like an 80-year-old woman. Is it not like young, but just kind of like, I don't know, I expect to be like maybe a little like
seemed a little younger for the voice than what the character design is conveying.
Yeah.
You say that, but I hear a slight husk, and it was bothering me what voice it was reminded me of, because I know I heard a voice type like this before, so...
But no, I think that's at least a fair criticism. I at least get what you're going for. I think it still worked for the most part, but I can at least buy that, at least in the early episodes, it maybe sounded a little younger than what these old, crippled, quote-unquote, woman is supposed to look like, yeah. Though I think it does at least work in the later episodes when you realize, oh, that's a facade, and she's actually a fucking crazy psycho bitch.
That bit I really enjoyed. She was great there.
Oh, she is hamming it up when she just runs out of the chair, and like her that fucking poor lady who's just like, she could run the whole time, just gets blown the fuck up.
I did give it before that I kind of like the whole like conversation you had with Dr. Sawatari about like when you get the whole like body stuff reveal. He's like, oh man, like we can't do this really difficult. He's like, oh well, who's gonna stop me?
I did not expect to make an Orochimaru reference in Heavenly Delusion tonight, but I thought about it. It's like that's just exactly what Orochimaru does.
See, you keep comparing to Orochimaru. I thought of Get Out.
I thought Astra slightly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, oh my god.
Mostly because I'm imagining a lot. Like when she says, "I'm going to put your mind in your body," I assume like, "Oh, you mean you're going to scoop her brain out, but yours in?" Okay.
Yeah, that.
God,
cool.
that is Get Out, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
I could tell you this. You're exactly right, because I was left out in the anime, but they said that in the manga that in order to do a egg transplant, that the vessel has to be about 13 years old, basically.
I think they mentioned that briefly in the anime. There's a bit there where like someone's trying to goad her into like it's going to take too long. You need to find a different solution.
And then she's like, "Fuck you! I can live with the power of spite." Which I mean, it's
and then she almost drops dead.
Yeah. That's where Aoshima came in, because what the plan was is to transfer her brain from out into Aoshima, and then once the vessel becomes of age, they transplant again to her. So.
I mean, living your whole life, despite the fact that you are an angry, vile human being that is basically a melting meat sack for like over a century, is actually a lot more common than you'd think. Rip and piss Henry Kissinger, by the way.
Ayo!
I'm glad Twitter survived long enough for that fuck to croak. Mm-hmm. It was like, for one moment, it was a good website again.
For one moment, we were all united.
For one moment, we were all united. Anyways, I think Anzu does a very solid job as the director, and also Lisa Ortiz does a very good job sounding like a very cold, indifferent, maternal robot howl machine. Because it's like, it seems protective, but it's like, I think that thing can and will kill you at a drop of a hat. So Lisa does a great job sounding cold, conniving, and maybe very dangerous.
And, something I really like about the, you hit a lot of what I liked about sort of the Heaven characters in the group really well. I just like how cold and sterile all of them felt. You know?
Oh yeah, they are a bunch of mad scientist, broken fucking people.
Like, not
basically.
Just, like, mad scientist is its own thing. They just felt sterile. It felt like listening to the equivalent of an operating room.
Ooh, I know exactly what you're going for there, yeah.
Like, I mean, not only in the sense of, like, medical sterility, kind of, that kind of aspect of their performances, it's also sort of that corporate sterility, particularly with the director.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good. You nailed a lot of my thoughts right on the head, but that's one little bit I wanted to add on to that.
Cool.
Yeah, I think the heavy section of the group did very well. For mostly new people, I thought they were very impressive. Lisa Ortiz as Mita, however, it's always a delight to hear Lisa Ortiz and anything, and I don't get to talk about her. I don't think I've ever talked about her before, but hey, it's first time for everything. But yeah, everybody did very impressive, and
I like Lisa Ortiz as Mita. I thought. I feel like of all the Heaven characters, that's kind of the one I've got like the least read.
yeah,
Because
It's hard to tell what their deal is, yeah.
because there are instances where they seem aligned with the director, but on the other hand, it didn't kind of seem like they were trying to lead the kids to escape, which kind of seems opposite of what the director wants. So kind of very nebulous goals there.
That's the thing that's fun about Heavenly Delusion, but also the fun part that's we're talking about Heavenly Delusion. We got a lot of answers, but there are also so many more questions that we just don't know, and we are not caught up with the manga. But I think the manga is now caught up to where the anime is as far as the English releases of the physical releases, correct?
yeah. Basically, it's like halfway through volume 6. The anime is.
Okay, cool.
See.
So I could start there if I wanted to get more of this. Good to know. Good to know. Thank you.
So y'all ready to move down to hell then?
I'm always ready to go down to hell with you, gents.
I think we saved the worst for last in this case. So
I mean, let's see. Mizuhashi, she runs a machines are bad, technology bad cult. She throws her medical leg off, and then she trips and falls, and then she eats shit, and then her second in command fakes her death, and then goes on a bloody crusade, and then they're all gonna die anyways because Maru forgot one of the man-eaters anyways. So,
Well, he didn't
lol,
notice, so.
Lamau even.
yeah,
I think that was Brett
this is what you
Mukai
get
as the
for-
second in command.
I'd have to double check.
I'm pretty sure that was Brett Mukai, but yeah.
I will say this though, because the whole thing about episode 8, you're right. They did fake her death, and it was kind of a deleted scene, but I guess it was deleted for a good reason from the anime. So after Dr. Usami commits suicide, Kiriko starts coming down with a fever all of a sudden, and then Maru is just scrambling trying to find a good place for her to recover. And then Misahashi comes out of nowhere and takes them to her house, and then she finds out that I guess they were just using her for their own revenge. So I guess the hell with that cult.
Yeah, it's very much that it's like they're very much playing this as like stop the human experiments, stop forced. It's basically they're marketing that group as like they are performing a bunch of Nina Tucker experiments on them, and then it's like, no, it's a bunch of people who got their like arms and limbs cut off, and then they put robot hands on them to give them better quality on life.
Yeah, so I got this.
But Andrew, they really want that building, and they're willing to lie to a lot of people. to
Like
get it.
there's almost like a Saturday morning cartoon level of evil CEO-ness to this, where it's like, we want to kick out all these wounded, disabled people so we could actually rule the world or something like that. It's like, it's just basically a Saturday morning cartoon where they want to get rid of the rec center and put in a shopping mall.
Yeah, to which, it is kind of funny that, like, again, we don't see what happens there, but there is another hero going to basement, so, whoa.
Yeah, they're all fucked. They're all dead.
Yeah,
Which, I mean,
screw them.
Marcy's fun, but also she gets fucked. The Mitsuhashi gets fucked, and is probably not dead, but that she's just like dealing with a bad like concussion, and then it's like our great leader is dead. We must avenge her. So it's like okay, y'all just want blood. Cool.
It's really funny how transparently unconvincing her fall is, but the entire cult just buys it because they're too far gone at this point.
Oh yeah, 100%. But
yeah.
Marcy's great, and
Yeah.
then there's Dr. Usumi, which, man, you know who also is a really great actor who's been around for a long time that we kind of take for granted because of how long he's been in the game, but you know what? David Matranga's a really fucking good actor.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Which, episode 8 is an incredible episode for many reasons, but sometimes a really good, dramatic, sad episode can also recontextualize your entire show.
Oh yeah.
Because Dr. Usumi isn't just Dr. Usumi, he's Shiro Usumi. He's the little weird gadget kid from heaven who had a crush on the girl with the bunny rabbit ears, but he stuck by her. He stuck by her in sickness and in health. She was like critical conditions, basically just bordering like living on tubes in a bed, unable to speak, unable to talk, barely able to live. Just by being alive, she stopped being a monster. But his goal was that he wanted her to die as a human. So there's this very sad, very bittersweet moment of I want her to die with dignity instead of lose herself as a monster. And it's like, oh man. God damn.
Yeah, it was very painful to watch.
It was painful, and it was just a really good, dramatic episode with a really killer twist. That, everything that's been going on in heaven, that's all in the past. Everything that's taking place in the hell timeline is at least 15 to 16 years in the future.
Yep. And you find this out one of two ways. One, the flashback in episode 3 where they do the electric kart races. You can see a side of the wall that says like X years after the great disaster. But also number 2 is after Usabi commits suicide, Kiriko notices there's something in his head, which is the emblem to Takahara Academy.
Which is what the thing is, but then you also have Mimihime's effectively like real having the dream about her death, finding comfort knowing that Shiro's there beside her, and then it's like, oh shit, that's a really good twist. That's a really good twist. Like, that was really cool. That was a really good episode. But yeah, also just no, shout out to David Matranga being this sort of like indifferent little weirdo who doesn't like people, but was doing it all for his girl. Through thick and thin, through the very end, he was there with her to the bitter end. And it's like, man, I'm a sucker for tragic love stories, motherfucker. Oh, and David Matranga's really good. He's really good. He's a really good actor. I've loved him since Clannad, which guess what? I've loved him since the first tragic love story that got me hooked into anime.
Yeah, he was really good there.
Damn right. Any other thoughts about Usumi before we just go into?
I think you covered it pretty well.
Okay.
Dude.
Yeah.
I will hold my tongue on Robin then. Whoever wants to throw the first punch.
What a fucking slime bag.
Yeah, man.
Eric's great though. Like I forget how good he is at playing just the worst.
That seems to be his tendency a lot. Is just playing a lot of scumbags and assholes and that kind of thing.
Yeah, it was kind of weird because there is because there's a really kind of weird evolution with this character. Because when he's first introduced, he is kind of featured as a sort of like big brother figure in like Kiriko, like Paragi's wife, and
he's this really cool big brother figure that's actually like he yells at the kid, but it's like, yeah, don't throw your life away, you idiot! I want you to live.
And Eric is really convincing there, and you buy into it, and then you get the reunion, and at first he seems, I don't know, like a little suspicious and kind of like weirded out at seeing Kiriko, though you're not totally sure why.
His face upon seeing Kiriko is one of not of happiness or confusion. It's one of abject disgust. Like that thing you have suppressed has finally come back. The chickens have come home to roost. That's the look, and it's like, oh, something's going on here.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a theory about that.
Yep.
Well, let me get my so Kiriko. Kiriko mentions his confusion at one point. It's like, all right, my brain's in my sister's body, but my sister wasn't dead. And when that happened, it was like, oh, Robin killed her. That's what happened. Robin killed her. That's why she was dead, to be an empty vessel for his brain to put in.
You do hear a gunshot. So there is the implication that somebody took her out so they could do this experiment.
I got the impression that a thing that's being hinted at here is that his sister and Robin clearly had some kind of relationship that he was not privy to, and he is now getting like the ugly, grotesque business end of that years
Yeah,
later.
the implication that Robin was grooming and abusing Kiriko is extremely very likely and almost 100% confirmed by the actions in episode 12 and 13, yeah. It's just a shock to the audience because we're seeing it through the perspective of Haruki, the little gung-ho boy who idolized him and saw him as the cool big brother that he always wanted to be. Which makes it so much more fucking upsetting and so fucking... Oh my god, like, as fucked up and traumatizing as that is... Eric Vale commits to making that as fucked up and fucking, oh man.
Yeah, that's why I kind of dropped that bomb there a little earlier because...
No, yeah.
Because Haruki lost trust in this guy because he didn't know what was going on, and when he does find out, holy shit. But yeah, Eric Vale does very well playing these types of characters. As a matter of fact...
Which also, that is a very satisfying comeuppance. With one of those... I love that unique level of anger that is shown before the punch is even thrown. It's Maru literally forcing him into the corner and, like, locking eyes with him. So, like, just unmoving, unflinching. So when Robin just kind of, like, tries to slip past him, grabs him by the collar, throws him back in the corner. It's just like, oh, that's a level of quiet fury that, like, is so conveyed really well that it's like, oh, God. And also, Robin may or may not be his own Sho Tucker.
Yeah, because there's that whole episode 13 stinger.
Where it's like, yeah, he left. Hey, this woman, she's a resident. She's brain dead, but she's alive, and what the fuck is that thing? Questions for later. But no, Eric Vale is, as I was saying with David Matrenga, I think there's just a bunch of actors who have been around for a long time, especially in, like, the Dallas sphere, that we are just kind of like, oh yeah, they've always been a good actor. But, like, man, no, when you get some good material and some, like, banger direction, yeah, no, Eric Vale can be a very, very good actor playing a very, very bad person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I brought this up to him when I met him at SuperCon earlier this year. To which, man, if these episodes had dropped before then, holy shit.
Like, it is extremely good shit when actors get something that presumably challenges them.
For sure,
Because they love themselves a good challenge.
But no, I think for sure, definitely very impressed with David Matrenga's Usumi, with just a very good, heartbreaking reveal twist episode, but also just, I'm a sucker for a good tragic romance, and also I'm a sucker for bitch-ass motherfuckers getting what's coming to them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Regarding Eric's character.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I got.
So we good to move on then?
I'm good.
Any other thoughts before we leave?
David Matrenga good. Eric Vale also good at playing a really terrible person. Yeah.
Yep. Well, right now, let's get into these kids from the academy because, man, if I got questions.
Children of the Court is a fun section header. I'll give you that.
I was trying to think, what does this situation remind me of? Because I could not think of other shows where you see kids like these. So, well, I can think of one other show, but I'm not bringing that up.
Yeah. All right, who? Let's talk about these kids.
Yes, we basically have of the main character of this narrative, more or less is actually no, I say main character. The majority of the time
she is the
see
perspective
Tokyo,
character of
the perspective,
Heaven.
the tertiary character. Let's put it that way.
Ooh, big literary word. I like that.
Yeah. So basically, we have Tokyo. When we start the beginning of the show, before we get to the hell part, we encounter her in this academy. We haven't quite figured out what her deal is just yet, but she's start to explore feelings, which apparently is a concept that is not taught at the academy, nor is exploring gender. But that's a different story.
It's very clear that these kids are kind of left to roost in their own weird, removed from the world society. So, like, basic concepts like hormones and, like, sex education. And also self-preservation, because these are just a bunch of freaky muted kids. Because one dude just falls like 20 feet from a filler, nearly cracks his neck, and he's just like, ow, that kind of hurt.
Do you want to know what I just realized this whole bit very slightly reminds me of?
What?
What's that?
What's another thing where a bunch of scientists have a bunch of beings enclosed under the presumption that they are absolutely not going to reproduce, and then it happens and it causes problems?
Are you thinking Jurassic Park?
I'm 100% thinking of Jurassic Park.
Oh no!
They fucking Jurassic Parked them to their own peril.
Oh my god!
Okay.
Well, we found the Patreon clip for this episode.
Okay, you know what? Yeah. The dinosaurs will rule the earth once again. Man, that really does explain.
Life finds a way.
You didn't say the magic word.
Your scientists were so busy thinking about if they could. They should have.
That nobody thought if they should. Oh my god, oh my god, that makes so much of everything with Takahara Academy makes so much sense when you bring it in the perspective of, oh yeah, it's like Jurassic Park. Everybody fucked around and they found out. And now the world's ending.
I'm gonna have to rename this section, don't I?
The dinosaur children will rule the world. Anyways, let's talk about these kids. Who may or may not be secret dinosaurs.
We just touched on Tokyo. We have Kona. It's a very good artist. Kind of quiet, just keeps to himself. He's been keeping to himself a lot because he was one of the only two people of his year to.
He's one of the only kids remaining of his class, and that kind of fucks you up.
Yeah, because he experienced he witnessed Ashura's suicide.
Yeah,
And,
as it turns out, watching an alien girl hang herself would do a lot to your psyche. So then you become an artist.
Yeah, he said he had feelings for her, and she said those not the kind of feelings I'm talking about, basically. And then we have some really weird ones. We have Cuckoo. I'm gonna be honest, she's just that Suyu to me because her powers.
No, you're correct, and you should say it. Cuckoo is just Suyu Asui, which I love that she is equally as weird and just kind of like derpy.
Yeah, basically. But it's funny because she's also the one that points out to Tokyo about the whole babies kind of situation. Because she said, "Your babies don't have faces." And then we kind of.
I love that so much. I love how weird that is. I love how it's like, oh, this is so weird because everything about this environment is so fucking weird.
Yeah, and then speaking of when we have Taco, it's very athletic and very, I want to say indestructible, but he even points out at one point he falls 20 feet, it hurts like a scratch on.
Taka is a good boy, and he is one of 4 kids that we know for certain makes it to the outside by the end of the show. Because that's him. Anzu, who you don't have here, she doesn't get a lot to do with this season, but she's played by Courtney Lin, and she seems like she will be relevant later. I actually have a theory that I think Anzu is the girl that introduced Maru to Kiriko and then died.
You know, you might be onto something.
Yeah. I'm fucking cooking right now, and it's like you brought up like the whole thing where it's like, oh hey, what if those cute little lesbian kids were actually the ones that got killed trying to help Juichi to escape? It's like, wait, I can't rule that out anymore. All of those kids could be dying. All of those cute, fucked up dinosaur kids could be survivors and died horribly in this fucked up world.
You might be onto something.
Anyways, let's go.
Speaking of one of the 4 children, we also have Shiro. I guess he's a techie at heart. Has an attraction to Mimihime to the point that out of randomly she gets emailed a picture for some reason.
Yeah, I'm still not sure what the hell happened there, but that had to deal with what I can only describe as the most awkward confession that I can't believe it worked.
Basically.
It only worked because these kids just do not understand how any of this information is supposed to work naturally. Because, like, if any other guy is talking to a girl where it's like, I think I want to possess you and keep you in my room and, like, lick you all over, you would call 911 on that guy.
I think that's the thing about being in this academy. Like, they don't really teach them social cues. They
don't teach them shit.
Man fumbled the ball so bad he rolled into the goal line.
That's really fitting upwards.
That really is the story of their romance. Motherfucker fumbled so hard and then just got like the tragic romantic ending. The fact that from the beginning you know the end makes it all the more endearing. Mm-hmm. And then there's Mimihime, which she just has bunny ears.
Yeah, she has bunny ears, has the power of precognition, basically. Like, she can see things other people can't. Like a dead Ashura hanging from the ceiling after years.
Oh, her power's rough. That's a rough one if you don't know how to control it.
Yeah, it's because she stated herself that, like, there are things that, like, she sees into the future that could probably happen, like, 10 seconds from now, and vice versa.
Like she did not realize she witnessed her own traumatic death 15 years later. She just realized it was a dream, and she recognized that cute weird guy was there with her. So yeah, Mimihime is very sweet. She is very weird, but also she is very cute and a very good big sister to yeah.
And she also has very good hearing.
It's hard. Yeah, she has very big ears, the better to hear you with.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, she's also a very good sister to Oma, one of the new transfer students, I guess.
Yeah, they just have a new class.
They just have a new class, which apparently is supposed to be the final class, according to the director. She sits there lonesome because apparently her power causes problems to other people. Her power is basically, if you stare into her eyes, she can manifest your worst nightmares.
Yeah, that's a rough power. No wonder the kids want to stay away from you if they think of their worst traumas when they look into your eyes. That's a rough one. This has like a very big like X-Men like moral quandary where it's like, I hate my powers, says Rogue, the girl that touches everybody and kills them, and then Storm being like, no, your powerfuls are a beautiful gift, says woman who can control the very forces of nature at her beck and call. It's got that kind of energy.
Yeah, it's got that kind of energy, but playing these 7, I'm gonna actually stop backwards. Oma is played by Madeline Doro, who you've heard as Cody Hida in Digimon The Golden Digimetals, aka Digimon the Movie Part 2, the new Sound Cadence dub. Yu Takasaki in Love Life Niji Kasaki, and Young Moranjo in Ranking of Kings. Mimi Hime is played by Tia Ballard, who you've heard as Nene Yashiro in Toilet Bound Hadako-kun, Yoshino in Data Life, and Garm in Garo the Animation. Shiro is voiced by Hao Feng, whose only other role I could find is he's Hada in Oku the Inner Chambers.
I think he's predominantly more of a live action dub actor too, from what I can understand.
That would make sense. Taka is voiced by John Choi, not to be confused with John Cho. You've heard him as Sutezo in Oku the Inner Chambers, and Tetsu Tatsumura in Summertime Rendering.
Cool.
Cuckoo is voiced by Madeline Morris, who you've heard as Eruchi Tada in Hyoka. Since we spot My Hero Academia, she's Yui Kodai. And she's Hotaru Hoshikawa in New Game. Koda is voiced by AJ Beckles, who you've heard as Shiki Tadamaru in Komodo G-Head. Joker Love McDonald in Shaman King 2021. And Takemichi Hadagaki in Tokyo Revengers. And Tokyo is voiced by Brittany Lauder. You've heard as Foo Fighters in JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, Stone Ocean. Kaoru Daichi in Ladies vs. Butlers. And Rico in Made in Abyss. So I think for this section, let's start with the latter 3, Mimi Hime, Oma, and Shiro, because
Oma's a cute kid, but Madeline doesn't really get a lot to do aside from cry and feel bad.
yeah, basically.
Play sad
But-
melodica solos.
She's got the sunglasses. She would be perfect for the jazz scene. She just needs to
I
be
knew
like,
I wasn't the only one thinking that. I knew I wasn't the only one thinking that.
come on.
No, Andrew. Donald Fagen from Steely Dan wears sunglasses and also does a lot of melodica solos in concert, and I didn't make that connection until you mentioned it right now, and I hate my brain.
So what you're saying is this cute trauma toddler would be perfect for the Steely Dan Twitter account.
Drink Scotch whiskey all night long and die behind the wheel, man. Like, absolutely.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm sorry. I had to laugh because we're literally just talking about Madeline Doro, and Megan just texted me saying that Madeline Doro's playing a new major character in Fire Emblem Heroes.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So that just caught me off guard that we were talking about her, and then it's like, oh hey, that cute fox girl, I was wondering who played them. Oh, it's the character we're talking about right now on recording.
Wow.
Astonishing.
Hilarious. So yeah, no, Oma's a cute kid. Good luck with that trauma. Anyway, speaking of trauma, Mimi Hime.
Yeah. Right.
So, I found out, I think, around the time this dub started, that I think Tia Ballard actually did recently move to California, because she's now actually directing stuff at Ayuno.
Yeah.
We'll actually be talking about something that she directed there very soon. Or have talked about it soon. Depends on when this comes out. Might come out after. Anyways, Tia Ballard. is a real... I'm going to say this dub is... The biggest compliment I can give this dub is I feel like this is reaffirming a lot of actors I've always just kind of thought, yeah, no, that's a name I associate with good quality anime dubbing. But didn't really think more on that. And it feels like this is a show and this is a team that is letting a lot of actors from the Dallas scene that I always just associated with good quality and really letting them play with some pretty spectacular performances. Tia's really, really good as Mimihime. Like, really good.
But yeah, I like what Tia's doing a lot. She does a really good job of making Mihime come off as like very kind of spacey initially, and sort of like has her head in the clouds a lot. But at the same, but as you kind of gradually get to see more of the character, you kind of tell she does a better job of like observing things and see what's on, like especially when it comes to her dynamic with some of the other characters, with like Shiro, or kind of like seeing everything that's going on with Tokyo. And I thought that Tia did really well there too. And it was kind of interesting that like when when the bombs come and like they can finally escape to the outside, she's kind of the one, not necessarily leading the charge, but is kind of the one willing to like actually go out and like see what's out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought T is a powerhouse where she wants to be, though. Because I really thought, when I heard her this, I mean, it's the Tia voice we all know and love, but I don't hear her as a lot of soft-spoken characters as much, and especially when she has to keep a straight face with all the stuff Shiro's talking about. It's like, it's okay, it's no big deal. It's like, any other person, I'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But, calm, cool, and collected is not something I hear from Tia often. She did very well as Mimihime.
I also want to give a shout out to Hao Fang as Shiro, because obviously he grows up to be David Matranga, but like how I it's very clear that he is.
Oh fuck!
What?
That's why you said Shiro Usami? Holy sh!
Wait, did you not get that?
No!
Wow.
Jamal, did you not realize Usami was Shiro?
Dude, I read the manga too. I didn't even notice.
How did you not notice?
He was holding the button. He was holding the button and everything.
He was holding the button. She calls him an idiot. Literally, the reveal that was happening in the past is right after they die. Did you not realize that? Oh my god, you didn't realize that.
You doing okay there, man? Jamal?
You good?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just, holy shit.
Wow, I just blew your mind. Yeah, no. That would be why he's called, his full name would be Shiro Usami.
I really hope that comes out of the manga next, because, man...
I think that's the subtext they were already alluding to already. Like that's why they did that reveal in the episode where Usami shoots himself. Like you can even vaguely like it's hard to tell, but like in the "Please let me die," when you hear that girl in the hospital bed, like that's Tia. That's Tia Ballard saying that. Are you good? I feel like I broke you.
Yeah. Ooh, boy, it's a lot tonight.
All right, yeah.
Mind blown.
And banged against the wall.
Anyway, Shiro Usame, I gotta say, Hao does a pretty interesting job. Like, I get the impression that he's definitely, compared to some of the other members of his class, he's definitely a lot greener when it comes to working with anime dubbing specifically. But I think he's got this very interesting, like, vocal tone to him. That's like, I wouldn't say it's shy, but it's almost a lot more, like, repressed, I think is the word I want to use.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, probably.
Because he's like this awkward kid that like likes to tinker with his toys, is confronting with the fact that he has feelings for a cute girl, and also saw her naked. Not sure what's that about. I really like episode 13 where he like he swoops in to save her from falling to her death, and like you can see he's kind of trying to formulate the romantic words in his mind very awkwardly, but like still trying, where it's like, I would do everything in my power, like I would sacrifice my body limb for limb to make sure that you could be okay, because I truly am in love with you. Which those words ring a lot more true and a lot more sad when you remember, yeah, he's the doctor that has been keeping her alive and from turning into a man-eater for years and wanted her to die a human's death.
To which I do. Yeah, to which we didn't touch too much on Oma, but when the illusions kind of like with Hime show her getting cut up by machines, that definitely hits different when you know what happens to her.
Oh yeah. And it's a lot more sad, and especially when you realize that when you look at his eyes when he's a kid, and it's like, yeah, that's the eyeball he gave her. Like, just that bittersweet memory of, like, I love how kind you are. I love watching you tinker with your toys. I love how you gave me your eye. I love you. And I'm like, man. From the beginning, you know the end, post-apocalyptic romance stories. It's like episode 1 where you see that couple that... the environmental storytelling of that couple that starved to death but died holding each other at the very end. Love that shit. Fucking inject that romantic angst into my veins. Anyways, what I was saying is Hao's got a very interesting, repressed voice to him that becomes a lot more confident, especially in the final episode, and he does a good job. Sorry, I keep talking and rambling. I got a lot of thoughts in this one.
Yeah, so do I, but you taking most of my thoughts, and that's a good thing.
I'm sorry. You can get Taka and Cuckoo. You guys get that?
Yeah, let's put them together. Let's leave the other two separate though, because
I mean they're pretty good. I mean they're pretty good. They're pretty good together, too.
Yeah, definitely.
They have some good chemistry together.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some good snark there.
I mean, not much to talk of, that he's resilient and he's funny, but
that boy is thick. That boy could he could take a good slam on the noggin.
Mm-hmm. I did kind of find it. Yep, I will admit I did kind of find it funny that he's the only one who's just that when everything's going down, he's the only one who assumes like, oh yeah, clearly this really is just like a random ordinary test that the teacher's giving answer. It's just nothing suspicious going on here.
There's like the 3 creepy little girls that are screaming, "Danger! Danger! Danger!"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Wow, this is a really elaborate test." And it's like Taka.
What a pure innocent child.
Yep. You fucking dumb motherfucker. I hope he's doing okay and has neither died horribly or become a rapist.
Why would you say that? That's gonna happen now. Andrew, you have not read enough of these stories. If you give them an opportunity for ironic conclusions, they will take it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I only say that because there's this weird... Like, they say Robin Inazaki... The fact that they say Robin Inazaki as his full name in itself tells me they're trying to clarify Robin is not one of the kids. That's what I assume the insinuation by saying Robin Inazaki instead of just Robin. I'm assuming that we have gotten his full name means that Robin Inazaki is not one of the kids from Takahara Academy.
Better not be.
But the odds are low, but never zero.
Yep.
That's why I'm saying
lies the trouble.
I hope Taka is a good boy and doesn't grow up to be Robin.
Well, I find it much more. I find it much more likely that he dies in a comical fashion. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, probably.
The first person to get eaten by a man-eater is Taka, because he thought it looked fun.
Anyways, I think John's got this John brings this great level of himbo energy to him. That's just like, yeah, I want to make him feel better because he could throw that rock really far, and I can throw that rock really far too. Just watch me, guys. I can do it. I got this. And it's like, you don't got this, buddy. You don't got this.
Yeah, I can tell you really love that role too. So
Yeah, and then
Andrew,
Cuckoo.
I don't think you're gonna like what I'm about to say.
Oh,
About
hit me.
So, nothing definitive, but Taka's name translates to hawk.
Fuck you! Fuck you!
See, I told you, Andrew, don't do it.
Fuck!
Oh wow! And here I was about to say something. Well, not as upsetting, because
would you like to clarify for the rest of the class, Roots?
Hawk?
Hawk, Robin,
Fuck you! Patrick, I'm gonna fuck.
No.
Fuck you!
no,
Fuck you!
no.
I'm gonna beat your ass next time I see you.
and here I was about to say something upsetting about a slightly different topic. So Madeline Morris's Cuckoo is pretty fun. Does a pretty good job sort of playing a kind of like, well, not upsetting, but sort of like weird, maybe mildly upsetting frog kid who's basically just Suyu. So Anna once again just going to get you like some weird, some fun speculation I was hearing on like the internet to show, because they were also trying to like figure out the mysteries of this show.
See, once the reveal that this is 15 years in the future, everybody's trying to figure out who could be who.
So they figured out pretty early. Yeah, so they figured out pretty early on that like a lot of the man-eaters are probably just like that a lot of man-eaters are probably escaped kids, and if one of them did end up being Cuckoo, at least you got to go out, yes, having some weed, just as you do.
Oh no! No, not the freaky fish!
I mean, Coda did draw that. So.
Coda did draw that, and she's like, that makes me feel.
What blows so many minds today? We probably have to apologize to Felicia at some point.
Oh my God, you're so. That one just makes me feel really bad. Because, yeah, I love the reveal that all the cute drawings were, all the freaky Kiriko, all the freaky man-eaters were the drawings that Kona was drawing.
I think there might have been more to it than that.
There's always more to it. Oh no, she's the fit. Oh. Now that just makes me feel sad. Because I really like Madeline Morris as Cuckoo. I love that she's just this freaky, weird little girl who's like, I like it. Hey, you want to see a baby? There's just this weird, charming derpiness in the way she delivers her line. Hey, come on, I gotta see the babies. It just stuck with me. Like, there's just like, because Maddie's an interesting actress, but there's just this very fun delivery in the inflections for Cuckoo in particular, where it's just like, I like them. I'm not sure how to. Muppet. Madeline Morris is playing a Muppet.
Yeah.
And I really like it. I think it's fun.
Yeah, Madeline Morris is always like, man, it's been so long since I've talked about it, though.
Good writer, even better frog.
And Yeah, I suppose so. I was just wondering what it would have been like on Earth 2, where she got cast in the studio. That would have been weird.
Oh my god.
Ooh, man.
It's at least a nice alternate reality Frog Girl. But yeah, Cuckoo's just a very fun, strange character that I think Maddie's just got the right strange, quirky inflection for this character that's just pitch perfect. Patrick, I'm still fucking angry about that Hawk thing, by the way. I swear to...
Now, it may be nothing.
It may be
better
nothing.
be nothing.
It may be nothing, but it's more something than it should be, and that's why I'm angry.
Any more thoughts on these two? Because I really want to get to the main two here
No, I think I'm
of this
good.
section.
I'm good.
I think I've done enough
Okay,
psychic damage for one day.
No, you haven't.
Oh, you bet your ass I haven't.
Nah, Andrew did more, so, Coda, AJ Beckles. I'm glad I get to talk about AJ Beckles, man, because, woo, let me tell you, I met this dude in Supercon, and I was so excited when this episode was going to happen, because he's a very great guy, let me tell you that.
AJ's super chill, yeah.
Yeah, I also found out what one of the letters his name means, but I will say this though: if you ever talk to AJ Beckles, please talk to him about Komodo Cheehead because he really loves that show. Like he loves getting to work on that. I do think he's definitely very good here. He's very very soft spoken. Like
I think that's why it's so interesting to me is that this is probably one of like the more softer spoken characters I've heard AJ pull off. Because, like, a lot of, like, other stuff I associate with him is typically a lot, like, spunkier, more, like, prone to fight kind of characters. And Kona's just kind of like a strange, like, quiet artist who finds, like, this very tender connection with somebody.
Yeah. I mean this in the most polite way possible, but I swear, like, I swear if I wasn't paying attention and you didn't tell me who it was, I would have just assumed it was Johnny and Bosch.
You know...
I mean, I looked at either Johnny Young Bosch or Zeno Robinson at the time too, because there was a moment he pretended to be Zeno.
You know... Honestly, Chet... Yeah.
You know...
Yeah.
I mentioned this in the Tokyo Revengers episode, but AJ can pretty seamlessly switch between, like, Johnny Young Bosch, Zeno, and Greg Ayres. Like, pretty seamlessly gap the three of them pretty well.
Which those are all equally, like, talented praise in its own right, but yeah, Conan's just a very strange character. I think AJ just brings the right amount of, like, awkward, like, distant vulnerability to this kind of person. And I think he genuinely has, like, this very tender connection with Tokyo that I think is very charming.
Yeah, but I like their dynamic. You can definitely tell through, like, AJ's delivery that while Coda may not necessarily have, like, all the answers on, like, everything about life that the teachers are hiding, he does at least, like, understand these things a bit more than the other kids do, and, like, and that gives him a kind of sense of maturity that you can, like, sort of sense in AJ's delivery, and I think he handled that really well, and it makes this whole dynamic with Tokyo pretty interesting.
Yeah. Because you realize at the end, like, the two kind of have sort of an affection, definitely an affection for each other. To the point, he had, like, a little psychic link, like, when Tokyo was giving birth, because I guess it was, in his mind, it would probably feel like something close to sympathy phase or something, but he doesn't know that, he's just experiencing it.
Kona's a good boy. I believe in another lifetime he would pay child support.
It's to which man, I hope he makes it out okay, but I'm not feeling optimistic.
Oh yeah, like we just talked about, hey, what if the cute little frog girl turned into the fucking freaky weed fish? And it's like, yeah, nothing's sacred. We just talked about those cute little kids in a lesbian relationship that probably might have died horribly trying to save Juichi. Nothing is sacred.
I feel like you're probably going to be pretty... Assume everyone dies horribly. Then you can't be disappointed.
Yeah. I'll say, if nothing else, if most of those kids wind up being the Hiriko we see throughout the show, that's a very morbid but very strong twist.
Well, considering that hospital scene, it was at one point Tokyo looked over at Kona, and Kona looked like a man-eater all of a sudden. Like, literally. So...
Yeah, this is a good...
Nothing's too far out of the realm of possibilities.
Yeah,
This is a good tragedy.
Yeah, I at least don't think he's been one of the ones we've seen yet. So, we don't see him.
I don't know how to describe this. This is an honest question for you because I kind of want to figure this out. What is the difference in your mind between good drama tragedy, and like torture porn?
I mean, good tragedy has a lot of setup. Does they want to like actually get you? Doesn't want to get you attached to the characters. Is like kind of, sort of saying something get a tragedy, and then torture porn is just sort of like here's a bunch of bad stuff happening constantly.
Gross shock value to characters that don't deserve it, and we just want to draw gross stuff to shock you, and that's all she wrote. Okay, I wanted to at least discuss that because even in like what I would describe as like Heavenly Delusion's most fucked up problematic moment, I would argue there's at least some level of like exploration of its characters.
Yeah, definitely think there's a heavy bit of exploration going on because, again, with the Academy, they don't teach them shit, so they basically fending for themselves.
And then
other than learning chat.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
And then I was just going to go into the discussion about Tokyo unless somebody else wanted to take that ball running.
I was waiting for you to do that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think your torture porn is cheap. It's unearned. Like, not even unearned is a, that could be a taste thing, but I think a lot of it is when that kind of like emotional conflict is just done poorly, it just feels very cheap. It's just like, no, this isn't interesting or satisfying. It's just ugh. It's just sad, like bad things happening. And why do I care? And why is this happening? Ugh.
And I feel like the good drama, especially when we're going backwards and forward, it's like setting the breadcrumbs for knowing something happened here. It's you know what it is? It's environmental storytelling in a zombie post-apocalypse movie.
Like I know you're talking more about sort of emotional stakes rather than literal. But when I think of like, torture porn horror movies were very popular when I was in high school, and I was never very interested in them, and that's mostly like, well, just watching someone suffer for 2 hours. Like, why is that entertaining? Like, is that it? Just they're in pain? Why? Why would I watch that?
And I think, a lot of the good drama of something like this, even if it's horrifying, and even if some of these characters are going to go through grisly fates, is the character and the dynamics are strong, are compelling, and worth making it through the show.
There's setup and conclusions and arcs and so on. Like, it's building to something. There's a point behind it.
And, even the stuff you don't know what's going to happen next. There's stuff to go through. Especially when we talk about Tokyo. Because, Tokyo is a good girl who does not deserve any of the bullshit that is thrust into her life. I also like the reveal that, Tokyo is probably Maru's mom.
To which I really do appreciate the way they I do appreciate the way the graduates at that twist, because at the start of the show, you're supposed to assume, oh, okay, that's like...
The kid that looks like Maru
Yep.
is going to be Tokyo.
Yeah, sure. So, like, okay, that's like Maru's twin, like, sister or brother, because...
A strange sister, because,
Yeah.
different stuff.
Because also, like, towards the beginning... And because also towards the, like, early parts of the show, they kind of keep Tokyo's gender ambiguous, which I think Brittany does pretty well.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons I listed Lace versus Butlers, because when I first heard her play that character, she definitely had the ambiguity kind to it, because it was a boy, but it turns out it was a girl dressed up as a boy. I know Brittany can, like, pull that off very well. I mean, she even said herself that, like, when playing Tokyo, like, there was some personally triggered content, but she was grateful to have someone as compassionate as Felicia to guide her. So, to which I said to her that it takes a special kind of person for the leads involved, especially when we get to the main section, because, oh my god.
But no, Brittany's an incredibly talented performer, and a lot of Tokyo's awkward vulnerabilities, but also, like, morbid curiosity to see what lies beyond the world presenting itself. And also very, very painful, confused. She is giving birth, and she doesn't understand what is happening.
Yeah, that's gotta be traumatizing.
And nobody's explaining it to Tokyo either.
Which, we, as the audience, know the concept of birth and childbirth. Nobody has told Tokyo anything. She has been separated for people she knows and loves for 9 months, and then when it finally happens, it's the most painful, traumatic thing, and she doesn't know why this is happening or what's going on, and nobody's telling her what's happening or if she's even going to survive. That is as fucked up and cruel to put on to this child as you could do, is that she is going through something and you are forcefully omitting things that she deserves to have the peace of mind to know. And, like, the whole giving birth scene is, like, equally as traumatizing. It's like, it hurts, please make it stop. Like, nobody's telling her it's gonna be over soon, you're doing great, sweetie. No. Just keep pushing. The cold, sterile, like, robot eye staring as you are dealing with the most painful, confusing thing of your entire life. That's fucked up, bro.
Yep.
And that's good drama instead of torture porn. I think I have my definition now. Good talk. Anybody else?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Yeah, I think we're all good to be. Yeah, it's the scariest feeling anyone could have, especially in a situation like that. But yeah, Brittany, go ahead.
I was just going to gush and say, yeah, Brittany Lauda is an incredibly talented performer and did an absolutely incredible job making everything that Tokyo was completely convincing, compelling, and absolutely just, like, striking.
Like I said, man, it takes a special kind of person.
For sure. But, as much as I like all of these kids, they are not the heart of what makes the show work. To me, it's a tale of two travelers who found each other at the end of the world.
Yeah, two in quotation marks. We go on to our final section. The main leads of this show and the ones you're going to see the most of. It's an interesting dynamic we have here. We have Kiriko and Maru, two travelers making their way around Tokyo. Kiriko is a bodyguard to Maru who does not understand where he came from and why he has to search for heaven. All I know is he's supposed to get there and inject this medicine or something to this guy that looks like him. Kiriko's his bodyguard, but Kiriko has a secret.
Kiriko's got a lot of stuff going on, yeah.
Kiriko is basically not one, but two people intertwined. See, what happened was, years ago, there was this kid named Haruki, and he had a sister, Kiriko Takehaya. So yeah, they grew up together in this orphanage, raised by Robin. At one point, Haruki is out observing his sister's race, because his sister was an electrocart rider in this race. Comes across a man-eater that turned invisible. Tries to take it out by himself, but in doing so, it kind of ate up most of him, and he almost died. To which his sister tried to rescue him, but to no avail. Haruki wakes up one day, suddenly has his arms and legs back, but to the shock of his horror, he realizes he inhabits his sister's body, to which he does not understand. So, going at this point, we're talking about Kiriko, who they don't exactly understand what's going on. Why did Kiriko have to die for Haruki to live?
Yeah, that's some survivor's guilt with the heaping helping of gender dysphoria. Mm-hmm. Good times all around.
So dysphoric that when they could confess their situation to Maru, Kiriko doesn't exactly know how to deal with their feelings just yet.
Kiriko's whole deal is that, I mean, look, you've been calling me sis all this time, so it's kind of whatever, but like I'm a dude, but hey, if you're gonna call me sis, whatever, no biggie.
I'm a dude playing a dude inside the body of another dude.
God. All right, yeah, I'm for the sake of discussing Kiriko, I'm going to personally say, for the character of Kiriko, I'm going to go with they and them specifically for the... make my life a little easier. Let's just go with that.
Same.
Yeah.
But Haruki's male. Kiriko is female. Kiruko is
they, them.
Something in between, yes. They, them.
Something in between.
I almost wanted to say an experience, but like, man, comparing it to Fusion from Steven Universe almost seems a little cruel.
Hybrid's probably better than experiment anyway.
The tone is distinctly different.
The tone is distinctly different. Nobody consented to any of this.
How did you put it when I was bringing up the brain swapping? It was like it's like feeling like you're in the wrong body in the most literal way possible, like you're literally in the wrong body.
Yeah, that it is like the most textbook gender dysphoria you could imagine.
Basically, but playing these four people, Kiriko and Kiriko are played by the same person, Anjali Kudapaneni.
Good job.
Haruki is played by Mackenzie Atwood. And our boy Maru is played by Jonathan Leon. Anjali, you've heard him in other roles such as Karen in Feather Pirate Princess, Lemon Irvine in Mashle, Magic and Muscles, Roy in Pokemon Horizons, and Mimi EBB in Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens. Mackenzie Atwood, you've also heard them in as Gustav Isaac Kempf in Legend of the Galactic Heroes Inoue Tensei Collision. I think that's season 3. And young Zero Fuku in Record of Ragnarok 2.
By the way, I just want to say, I know I comically mentioned Steven Universe. Mackenzie Atwood was like a Steven Universe like YouTuber who did stuff with Cartoon Network social media to promote and advertise Steven Universe.
Oh boy.
So that cruel fusion joke became a lot more contextually relevant than I meant it to. Whoopsie.
Oops.
And Jonathan Leon, you've also heard him as Shizuku Drop Sakuma in Goodbye Dogleys, Minato in Scarlet the Praetor, and Kazushi Yamagishi in Tokyo Avengers. So, how y'all want to start this final section?
I'd say,
Because-
I'm just going to quickly say, Mackenzie Atwood is a really good actor as Haruki, even in the brief moments that Haruki is physically on screen. Mackenzie left a really strong impression, and man, that was a very visceral, violent way to go out. Mm-hmm. I really like Mackenzie, and I hope I hear them in more things.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
as much as I like Mackenzie, I want to give them some flowers. The entirety of this is, we're just going to gush about Anjali and Jonathan, and I need to not be the first person to gush about Anjali and Jonathan. Somebody else take that mantle for me.
Okay, I will.
Oh. Look, Ahmad's been a good boy throughout all of this, but also he likes to sit quietly in the back with his hands folded and be like, I'll just sit here, I'm fine. No, you talk, buddy.
All right. These two are just really fun together. Like, we were talking back in the cruise section how this dub clearly made Pains to sound a little more naturalistic compared to your like typical anime dub. Which I think they're helped a lot by the actual production itself in that regard. But that really shines through in just how these two interact. They so very clearly understand the, like, buddy, like, you know, semi-comedic, semi-tragic road movie that is at the center of this story. And, like, it's one of these things that, like, even if there were no monsters and they were just wandering around, I'd still want to watch 13 episodes of these two just doing stuff.
Even if the world was not an apocalypse, I would want to see these two go on a journey to find a dead body.
I was thinking to myself that it's really weird that this manga is by a guy who, prior to this, was most famous for doing, like, a slice of life story about a maid cafe. But
Oh yeah, and yet the town moves.
yeah, but in that regard, his experience working on stuff like that actually very much shines through in this. Like, there's clearly like a very clear understanding of like characters and character interaction and how to make that work and how to like just build. You care so much about these two. Even when they don't have a particularly good idea of what they're actually trying to accomplish because their own evidence is so vague. And it's just like, I'm looking for a guy who looks like me. Well, that is absolutely nothing to work on, but hey, whatever, let's go. Chop, chop. And they're fun to hang out with. I would watch a normal slice of life show about these two just doing stuff. That'd be great. Wouldn't even need all the violence and horror.
The violence and horror is absolutely your shit regardless.
Look,
but you just watch a regular thing.
It was real. It was extremely tragic when that poor woman got her head bitten off by the monster that used to be her son. Like, legitimately, but also like, that's what I'm here for, man. Yeah, give me that. Give me that.
Yes. I mean, the timing of that was darkly funny in a way.
It would.
Yeah.
If you're making things set in the post-apocalypse, you need to be able to laugh at the horrors, or else you're just going to cry yourself to death. It's your only option.
And sometimes the horrors is, man, I really hope there aren't any crocodiles in this river. And then you go up to the weed cult later, and they're like, wow, you crossed the river? Dude, there were crocodiles in that.
Yeah.
Like... So, I'm trying to think of who I would... I think I would start, if I had to go into performances specifically, with Jonathan. Because I know him from exactly one other thing. And he sounded a little bit younger in that, but equally as, like, the vibe you were talking about of wanting to see them in, like, a casual, just find something, no high stakes, but just see these characters going somewhere to a place. Guess what? That's what I know Jonathan from. It's called Goodbye Don Glees, and that's a great movie that also made me feel things. And Jonathan's equally as fantastic here. Like, he's not like a good kid who's kind of realizes his situation in life. Maru's a lot more of like... Maru's the dumb little brother that... He doesn't quite understand, like... what is appropriate all the time, but you can tell it's not from a place of, like, malice or disgust. It's just like, oh, you're just a little ignorant to the ways of the world. I get the feeling that this kid who has survived in the post-apocalypse has never had to consider gender identity or whether he's attracted to somebody who might be, like, mentally male but physically female. So he hasn't really had time to really contemplate with that. He's just like, I just know I really like this person. And if anything happened to them, I'd kill everybody in this room.
Which he almost does.
Which he almost does, yeah. He almost does, doesn't he?
There was only one person, but that counts.
Oh no, that dude was not going to wake up again if they weren't stopped. But he's got Jonathan has very good like whiny little brother energy to him too. That's why I love the fact that him and Kiriko like just bust each other's balls all the time.
Yeah. I still remember that one moment where he's kind of a little sensitive about what to call his power, and then he had a
fatal dive.
Shout out to Mixon on that, because that was cringe reading the manga, and it was even more cringe listening to it. I was like, oh my.
I love it. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say it's a really bad bit, but I love how he said that in kind of like weeby way, which is extremely funny.
You can tell he doesn't know what a chunibyo is, but he had that feeling in his heart, and he could be in another life. And it's like he's making fun of Kiriko for the crappy name, and it's like, oh yeah, what was that? Fatal Drive? It's like, stop! Don't make fun of me! I'm gonna make fun of you, dude.
Yeah, I do like Jonathan a lot. He just has a lot of spoken energy. It's just really, it's a really fun performance. Like you were saying, Andrew, he does come off as like a little naive, but just generally well-meaning, and it's just a lot of fun. I don't know, everything about this character is just really delightful.
I love that, like, they are very much hardened people who are trying to survive in this world, but they're still kind of well-meaning kids.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways.
To which I would be remiss if I didn't talk about one of the funniest bits with John's delivery, which is of course a bit where Kiriko thinks he went missing and is like really panicked because they can't find him.
That was a great character moment in and of itself, yeah, and then it's just like, oh, sis, I'm fine.
And like clearly just trying to just put his pants in it, like, oh wait, what's going on? Just hitting the smack back in the other room there.
And then it's like this very tender hug where it's like, I promise you, I'm not going anywhere. That's really sweet, but you're still at half-mast, dude. Just, I love the choice of like half-mast specifically. It's like, oh lordy. I also enjoy like when they're hearing Juichi's tales about like his real story with the breeding pigs, and then he's just like, see you, bye-bye. Not see you, bye-bye! What happened to the baby? I want to know what happened to the baby! It's like, oh, just that light level of like, oh yeah, dude, I want to know what happened, don't leave me hanging. And then like, when they're dealing with the bear, and it's like, okay, I kind of dropped the like they're very strongly competent. Like they are strong in ways that complement each other together, but by themselves they're kind of messes.
Yeah.
And that's what makes them a great team, where it's like they can work together because they know how to make the other person do what they need to survive. Whereas where Kiriko's just like, okay, look, that's a really long fall. I don't want to hurt myself. The adrenaline's worn off. Okay. So if you touched my boobs, and then he just fucking goes for it. It's like, oh my god.
Oh, man.
Oh, Christ. But yeah, I love, like, Jonathan's, like, childlike delivery, where he's kind of this dork in this cruel world, but he means well, and genuinely does have this very charming relationship with Kiriko. I think Anjali Kunapaneni is one of the best performances I've heard all fucking year.
Oh, absolutely.
This is a tour de force of a character in general. And oh my god, they get everything that Kiriko needs to be. That they are this kind of like cold, cool action movie hero, while also this weirdo dork that doesn't know anything that they're doing and gets to be vulnerable around this one dorky kid. But also like this kind of like genuine dysphoric tragedy of basically being what happens when the person the original Haruki loved is no longer there, and Haruki feels that guilt of existing in his sister's shell, and then having to become something else, not knowing where Haruki ends and Kiriko begins, and that's a fucked up, traumatizing thing.
Very.
Yeah, to which, I mean, the show stopped touching on it after a bit, but it is sort of... but it was sort of implied at some point that Haruki was, like, actually in love with his sister, which is,
So, if I told you that I found out the author of this manga is a fan of Made in Abyss, I heard that, and I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds about right, actually.
No. I mean, the reason I'm mentioning that is because there are a couple of because there are like.
Are you talking about the one scene where it's kind of implied that like in as soon as they become Kiriko, they kind of do, yeah.
There's that. There's also like a bit in the first episode where like, where you see Kiriko like looking in the mirror and it's like.
See, that I find almost, like, uniquely, like, gender fuckery, but it's a little less ambiguous where it's like, oh, you're having a Shinji Ikari moment as soon as you, became you. I get that. That part is definitely toned down, for sure. That does not surprise me.
Yeah.
But, no, without a doubt, Anjali is absolutely incredible as Kiriko. I think both Anjali and Jonathan are kind of like the perfect like road trip post-apocalypse duo.
Yeah.
And like Jonathan's very charming and funny, but also can fuck shit up. And I think Anjali is equally as like dorky, spunky, tomboyish, while also just being like this traumatized, vulnerable kid that, like, is trying to find the people that matter to him, that matter to them, that they could still find in this world.
Yeah.
And it's a good drama. It's good. Their dynamic is very The Last of Us.
Yes. I do like their dynamic.
I'm talking part 1, not part 2, by the way.
I do think both of us would get that, but yeah, I do really like Anjali and Kiriko a lot. They do a really great job with the character. It's just, like, I mean, I do kind of appreciate that they do sort of come off as like at first they do kind of seemingly come off as sort of being the straight man to Maru in a way where they're kind of where they kind of seem to be the more level-headed one of the duo. But as you kind of spend more time with them as a duo, you kind of see that like no, like Kiriko is kind of so. In a lot of ways. They take turns holding the brain cells.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely agree because Anjali's performance is astounding. Because episode 3 was probably one of my favorites to look back on because it's like, Jesus Christ, this is actually happening. What the fuck is going on? And then the shock and horror that Haruki's in Kiriko's body, to which Anjali definitely displayed
Oh, that is a
rage.
horrifying scene with like a visceral scream. Like, oh my god.
Very. I think that was for me, like, you said it's one of the best you've heard all year. I think that for me is that episode is what does it for me, because they have to slightly differentiate between the two variations of what is basically the same character. Because okay, we don't hear much of Kiriko, but for what we did find, I thought Anjali was pretty good as them. Kiruko it's just a strange delight, especially playing off of Jonathan Leon's Maru, which I think one of the moments that really clicked for me when these two actors definitely worked as these two characters was anytime Kiruko didn't have a plan, Maru would kind of ask them a question, like a slightly condescending tone. It's like, you don't have any plan at all, do you? Or the moment that they get back to the hotel after killing that bear. Sis, isn't there something you promised me? I'm like, oh, okay. This is where we're going now, huh? I do sense that they kind of have this vibe about each other, like that's what makes it work. Almost as if like they were in the same room together, but obviously they're not. Also, I will say this though, I'm very excited about Anjali because I just learned they're coming to a local car near me. And I hope I get to plug this episode to them.
But yeah, for sure, if Kiriko and Maru did not work, this dub would not work. The show would not work. And I can definitely tell that they made the right call with Anjali and Jonathan specifically. They are an incredible tag team. They are the heart and soul of Heavenly Delusion. And they are some of my favorite performances of anime dubbing, honestly, I've heard all year. They're really good.
Yeah, like I said, Felicia carefully crafted these characters, and she knows what Anjali's about, so they cast Anjali as this character. It really fits like a glove, to be honest. It really does. Which is why I admire Felicia as a casting director, the general director, really. So, like you said, if they didn't do that, then this dub wouldn't have worked as well. So, any more thoughts on these two?
Like, their performances are really a good epitome of a road trip. There we go. Like, you guys basically nailed a lot of what I was going to say in the head, but it's just... Both actors have a really good dynamic with one another, and, like, it just works.
Roots, don't nail it on the head. We've already got enough psychic damage tonight.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Speaking of nailing it on the head, I guess we're going to move on to final thoughts then. So, gentlemen, what did we think of this dub and this show as a whole?
Yeah, this is a pretty. This is a pretty fun. This is a pretty solid show. This is weirdly enough for watching it. This actually makes this the third time I've seen this show in like the span of a year. So I guess I really do. So I guess I dug it quite a bit. It's got a really good sense of mystery and atmosphere. Does a really good job at sort of like giving you all sorts of like little breadcrumbs here and there, and kind of like gradually setting up the world and stuff in a really fun way. And it's a really good time, really good post-apocalyptic story, and dub-wise, I really like a lot of what's here. Like mentioned before, I really liked how why did they casted with a lot of the actors, getting folks from all over, which is really appreciated. And so, really solid cast across the board. A lot of veterans and a lot of like fresher names. I'm especially impressed with Jonathan Leon and Angelica Benetti just really making performances there. And yeah, but this is definitely one of the stronger dubs this year, and you should definitely give it a listen if you can. Just really, really, really entertaining. We gotta put up in Hulu's nonsense to watch this.
This is a really good show and a damn good dub, and I think Ruben and the team that worked on this really put their all into this. It's absolutely damn good. Absolutely deserves to be seen. The question is, are you ready to go through the scavenger hunt that is to see the entire show beginning to end English dubbed on Hulu or Disney Plus, depending on your region, depending on most of your regions. But if you're in the US of A, like all of us are, you're in for a fun scavenger hunt. Good luck. And you might not even see the whole show in some cases.
Pay attention to what episode you're on and what episode you're about to be on. Don't be like me.
Yeah.
I can tell you this right now. Episode 10 is fun to watch, especially for the moments where Kiriko and Maru go off model a lot.
Yeah,
So,
now that I thought about it, it's like, hey, where was that episode where everyone looks funny and cartoony? I remember seeing that episode. It was
That
like
was
the
the one.
the
You
one
just
episode
missed
that got shared a lot on Twitter and clips, so I was a little confused.
Yeah, so this was an absolutely spectacular show. Really good dub that followed it. I do heartily recommend it, but maybe not via Hulu. If you have a VPN, do the Disney Plus thing. But other than that, yeah, go for it. Like, this is...
I'll say this. I am here to encourage and support the official release because I want to see more dubbed products, more anime dubs from the House of Mouse team that is clearly putting a lot of time, care, and effort into all this stuff. But at the same time, as somebody who is not on the other side of it, I get it.
Yeah, I mean... Is it a little legally dubious to spoof a different region in order to watch a show legally on a different platform? Sure.
Besides, for all we know, it's probably gonna be on Disney Plus in the US in like a year or two anyway.
Yeah.
Like, that's where it is. Like, I remember we already discussed it. It's like, how do we plug this show if we don't even know if it's... Right now, at the time of this recording, it's on Hulu in the United States.
I would also
Disney-
imagine the possibility of like a Hulu Disney Plus Franken service coming to the US like at some point.
Hulu and Disney Plus are gonna make their own Verve. Remember Verve?
oh boy. Okay, then. So,
Remember HBO Max?
I remember HBO.
Don't.
Remember HBO Go?
Well, no, I didn't have an HBO subscription, so HBO Go was very useless to me.
What I'm saying is, good lord, the shelf life of some of these streaming endeavors is so fucking trash.
But yeah, they're
Even the ones that are like too big to fail.
I'm gonna say there
Anyway.
are at least a handful of performances from this dub that are very high contenders for dubbies. If
Oh
not-
yeah, without a doubt.
if not a few that may have like flat out taken them for me.
Yeah, I got a couple unlocked myself. I just have to figure out where to place one of them. That haven't been said. I love this show and I love this dub so much that I actually went and bought the manga to prepare for this. So
No, this is definitely a very strong anime dub, and this is a very strong show. This is a very strong adaptation of this material, because like I can tell, the material is strong, but you could tell that this is a very, very good team working on it. Like,
yeah.
on the Japanese side of it, too. Dub team, we've been singing their praises all night, but like the Japanese team working on this, they know their stuff. They were doing the good shit.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think we even once really got into the Sakuga portion of it, which is
We
like
didn't talk about how good this show
really
looks. We
fucking
didn't talk
good.
about the animation or like episode 10 is a very uniquely directed episode, and there's a lot of really incredible directorial decisions and like time adaptations and like trusting the audience to not have all the information. It's like, it's good. This is good, gripping television. I love that.
Yeah, I think the way the adaptation was handled, it was very exquisite because I remember reading, because the guy that wrote the script for this series, he wrote a few manga. One of them I'm looking at right now, Magical Girl Spec Ops Oscar. He said that he knew he's gonna have to cut out some elements of the manga to make it fit into 13 episodes, so he had to carefully craft like little hidden pieces for the future, so that it will get your brain wondering and get our brains wondering it then.
Yeah, anime adaptation is an own unappreciated art in and of itself. But then people yell at people when you don't make it exactly like the manga all the time, every single time.
Yeah, those people can bite me. But the dub adaptation itself is very wonderful. Like I said, Felicia carefully crafted this dub all alone. Like she only had the help of the scriptwriters and the help of understanding the material itself. I sing high praises for the team behind this. Felicia, Madeline, Emily for a couple episodes. Ruben, man, you deserve a beer for doing most of the legwork on the marketing. You and Felicia.
Also, I know there's no way to... I know the team does not choose what anime gets dubbed, but like... Man, I just hope you continue to get really cool anime dub projects regardless, because there's some cool stuff that Disney has picked up and would like to see. Like, I think Dragons of Hwarik. It was like the live action anime collab with also Production IG. Ishura is coming out, and I know Disney's got that. That'd be cool. Sin Duality Noir has come up. Tokyo Revenger Season 3! I know people would really like to see Tokyo Revenger Season 3. I hope they continue to let the anime side of the English Disney dubbing department continue to do really cool projects, because it's very clear when they get a really good project and they put a lot of love, care, and passion into it, you get something like the Heavenly Delusion dub, which I would say is probably one of the best dubs of the year.
Yes. And given the hand you were dealt, everybody here did a very good job from beginning to end, or middle, if that's how you want to look at it. As for the show itself, if you want to see this show,
at the time of this recording,
if you're outside of the US, you can look it up on Disney Plus or Disney Hotstar. However, if you're in the US, there are two ways to watch this. You have to search, both of them you have to search by the Japanese title, Tengoku Daimakyo.
Which, how you spell that is T-E-N, Goku. Ten, Goku. One word. Dai, D-A-I-M-A-K-Y-O. And you have to specifically select the English version, because the other version is Japanese only. You got all that down?
You're just gonna keep taking the words out of my mouth, aren't you?
I will say, I find most of dealing with Hulu to be sort of marginal annoyance. It's mostly just so silly that a major streamer is operating at such an amateurish level in 2023 that, like, I think really galls us.
That is what it is. Oh, it was Dragons of Wonder Hatch. That's the show I was thinking of. That would be cool if
that's
they
not
dubbed
a real
that one.
show. You made that up.
Yeah.
No, that's a real show, and it's a live-action anime collab with Production IG doing the anime parts and the Promised Neverland artist doing the character
Wonder
designs.
Hatch? I refuse to believe that. You're joshing.
No, it's real. Look it up.
No, I won't.
Okay, then. Yes, as Andrew said, is Tengoku Daimakyo you have to look up, and you specifically have to pick the English version. However, if you also want to read the manga, it is licensed by Denpa and available wherever you buy your manga. Also digitally, I don't know about the app iOS store, but I do know with the Google store, for some fucking reason, you can't get Volume 3 in the Google store. I had to look it up on the Kindle app.
Got it. Well, you could always use K, Mog.
Andrew.
Man, fuck off, man.
Go to the corner.
We're not.
I'm sorry. It's so.
No, you aren't. Go to the corner.
It let me read The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity, which is a wonderful romance manga, which stars a character that I think looks like the most Jonah Scott character I've ever seen. But thankfully that's getting physical releases, so I can tell people to just buy that instead of using that shitty manga app.
Yes, that's where you can
Where was I
find
going
the
with
show.
this?
Well, where were you going with this? Anyway, that's where you can find the shows, where you can find the manga. As for us, we the Dub Talk Podcast. We have episodes out every other Friday. We also have a gaming channel, the Dub Talk Gaming, where you can view VODs from our Twitch stream, or if you want to check us out live, we're Dub Talk Gaming on Twitch, right? Because I haven't used Twitch in a while.
Yes, it's Dub Talk Gaming on Twitch.
Okay, then. Yes. As for the rest of the channel, if you
It's
want
Dub
to
Talk
listen to
Podcast on Twitch. It's Dub Talk Gaming is the YouTube stream.
yes,
YouTube
it's the
VOD channel.
VODs. Yes. As for the rest of the podcast, we can also be found streaming on Spotify, Apple Podbean, wherever you find your usual streams. We also have a Patreon if you ever want to give back to the channel. It really help us support what we do. For $5, you can at least get your name shout out on the internet. We'd like to thank Megan's mom and dad, Michelle Travis and Victor May Baroda. But for $10, you can also participate in our Patron's Choice, where every quarter you, the patron, get to decide what episode we should cover. And in our $10 tier, we'd also like to thank Anthony Brown, Kali Leistercow, Kimwa Soup, Marissa Lenti, and Otaku Anthony. We also have a Ko-fi if you want to donate too, no stress. We just love what we do here on the internet. As for us and what we get up to, gentlemen, go ahead and plug yourselves.
My name is Andrew, aka Classy Spartan. You can find me over on the twitter.com at MangaMan9000. I also do have a Blue Sky account, Classy Spartan. You can find that in my Twitter name because fucking Lamau, Elon, suck my nuts. But yeah, as far as what else I do, I'm on Surreal Resolutions podcast O&A, where we talk about the latest in anime news alongside my buddy Jed. How you doing, man?
Tired. I'm Jed.
I mean, look, that's fair. That's fair. We've been at this for a while.
Yeah. I'm Jed. You can find me on Twitter or Blue Sky at Divine Dega, where I'll usually just keep ranting about anime or cartoons or like whatever. Like Andrew was saying, you can also find me on Surreal Resolutions podcast O&A, usually just shooting and breathing about anime news. You can also find me on my blog, Energy Abyss, where I'll usually just be writing about whatever Shonen Jump stuff I'm reading, and then sometimes I do things for reputable websites like Anime Feminist or Anime News Network. So I guess you can.
Yeah, you did a whole report where you went to Anime NYC and covered some early premieres for ANN. I thought that was pretty cool.
I have some stuff from Anime NYC up and one other thing that so waiting to see whenever that gets approved. So I guess you can look forward to that.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I'm Roots Justice. You can find me on the Bird app and the Blue Sky at Roots Justice. Mainly retweet key to animal pics, talk general fandom. Good time. You should come see me. Periodic blog that gets updated every now and again. And, at the end of each of these episodes, I have a Patrick's Cool Thing of the Day where I talk about a cool thing that I would recommend today.
Do tell.
This time around, I would recommend fairly recent film, but not like super, super recent. I think it was like last year. It's called The Green Knight. It's got Dev Patel. Retelling of Arthurian legend. It's awesome. Visually scrumptious. Go watch it. I don't know what streaming site it's on because I own the 4K Blu-ray. But you should. You should check it out. It's a good time.
Love that.
I'm Amon. You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky and co-host and whatever as Amon Duel US or Lucifer Hunklehead. I've decided that's just going to be my handle from now on because it sounds great. And you will find me there talking about movies and comic books and other such bullshit and music. And I have a dusty old song for this episode. As we brought up earlier, this reminds me a lot of my favorite post-apocalyptic world to run around in, the Fallout games, because it's tragic and horrifying and also funny and silly at the same time. And if you're thinking about music in the Fallout games, I think of the Ink Spots, because they love contrasting their lovely pillowy harmonies with the burnt-out horrors of the actual world. Roots, what song were you singing earlier?
That actually wasn't the Ink
I can't.
Spots.
I couldn't remember if it was or not. I'm trying to remember what song you were singing so I can confirm it or not. Because it's in one of the Fallout games. I remember. That's how I know it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's in New Vegas.
Anyways, they have a bunch of songs. A bunch of them have been in Fallout games. If you play those games, you definitely recognize a handful of them. I'm going to recommend one that I don't think is in any of those, but I could be wrong. Which is We Three, My Echo, My Shadow, and Me. It's about being sad because you don't have any love in your life, and it's very, very good. Yeah, so check that out. Excuse me.
As for me, I'm an assistant editor for this podcast. I can be found on YouTube at Jamstar1. I'm on Twitter and I'm on Blue Sky at Jamstar529. I haven't gotten to explore the Blue Skies much. Discord's been taking up a lot of my interest lately. I did have something planned, but I'm going to have to wait till later on to bring it to fruition. I have much else to say, so I guess it's time to end this episode. So, any final words before we close out?
No, this was a fun one. This was a fun show to talk about with all you lovely people. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking us out. Good luck finding this show, because it's a really good show to find if you can find it.
Futon Empire, baby.
But yeah, I'm all good to go. Good night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, and Otaku on.
Otaku on the dubba.
Otaku on, keep it
Rock
friendly.
over Boston, rock on Chicago.
Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to explore the ruins of this academy here.
I think there's a giant frost bug that's gonna freeze your eyelids open. I'm sure he'll be fine.
What is Project Noah Clue?
Oh my god! Are you ending on a joke? All right. Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah. Okay. Have fun freezing.